Severance?
I believe we are streaming. Let me pull up the thing on YouTube just to make sure it's going.
Hello. Do they see me yet?
No, it's you see what it shows on the screen.
But they can hear us?
It says live. Yep.
That's great.
The first thing that was said was severance.
Because my Severance reference was, I think I only want to wear the headphones while we're doing our How to Watch TV podcast.
Well, you don't have to wear the headphones now, but
Oh.
it was so that you could hear the music, the intro
Oh,
music.
I want to hear the music.
Well, then you're going to have to chill, and we're just going to...
So they still don't see me?
Do they see you? No. Okay, welcome to the Don't Ever podcast, episode 2. My name is Joel Henderson. With me this time, my lovely wife. That's Michelle Henderson. You have anything you want to say?
No. Hello.
Okay, well, that was her intro.
That was very professionally done.
Thank you. I'm good at this. It
Okay,
turns out I've done this
take these off.
before. Yes, you may take off the headphones.
You gonna take yours off?
Yeah, as soon as I fade this music out, all smooth like. All right. So yeah, here we are, episode 2. This one is called 1 month ago. So,
Why do they only see you?
well, here we are. We're right at the split crop there.
Oh, we're back in Borderland.
Okay, so I need to pull that up on here, so in case any comments are coming in. Again, my name's Joel Henderson. If you don't know me, I don't know why you're on this channel.
You know, everything is very opposite in these things.
It's like it's the same as you looking at me right now. Like I see the same thing back. So it's the opposite of a mirror. A mirror flips it. That's what you really look like to everybody.
I understand when you set the iPad up top.
Yeah.
You guys want to see my dog?
Is Pilot there?
Pilot, come here.
We have to switch to a different.
Come here. Okay, yes, sit right there. Hello, buddy. He's my dog. Yeah, I'm a dog. Here.
Are you trying to? No, don't do that. Are you trying to take the mic to Pilot?
No, I'm not going to anymore.
No.
Oh, Big Al.
You're not going to Pilot.
So,
Big Al. Hello.
I have a cough drop in my mouth right now.
We're doing a podcast. Yes, you're on air.
Because.
Yes, you're on air, Big Al.
Oh my gosh, disruptive callers.
He called to talk to Steve. I'm not sure. Let me see. Nope, just me, Pilot, and Michelle here.
He knows what the podcast is, right? Just kidding.
No, you can't talk to Pilot. Okay, goodbye, Big Al.
Anyway, we just had our first live caller. Big Al Salazar.
Did you say Big Al Salazar?
Salazar.
Big Al Salazar. Thanks for calling in, Big Al Salazar, for Steve. This has started off quite the
reason why I'm having a cough drop. We were supposed to be on a flight to California right now, but I got sick like 2 days ago. And so now I'm drugged up on antibiotics and steroids and...
She has this proclivity for getting sick just before an airplane ride. It's like her body knows.
Not necessarily because River had strep and then I got sick and then
But
I
it
was
wasn't
legit
strep.
sick. But I wasn't. Anyways, Pilot.
Yeah, Pilot doesn't want to
So
be
I have a
in
cough drop because I've been getting like those coughing attacks.
there. And Nicole in the chat said, "Hi, Pilot."
Hi. Oh.
You're not Pilot. Don't ever.
Yeah, I can't even see that. I can pull up my phone.
Yes, you can. You just go to the YouTube channel and then
So if
In the
you guys
YouTube app.
hear us...
you mute it. Turn your volume down, man. Unprofessional. See, I started it all professional and slick. You saw that. You guys all saw how smooth it was at the beginning.
I
Does
just
it
liked
sound
it.
okay? Is
It
everything
didn't
good?
Let me like it.
I don't want to.
Why?
I don't want to do this whole conversation and find out it sounded bad.
Why can't I like? I go to give you a thumbs up and it just gets rid of it.
I'm not sure.
Oh well.
Yeah, I think you have to heart it because it's a live thing, like down in the bottom right corner.
No.
Like it does. I don't know if it lets you do thumbs ups yet. Is it relevant? Does it matter? Who knows? Don't care.
How does this work?
The what?
How does this work? I've never really done this.
So, it's been a month.
Who's Nicole
and
Christine?
I don't know. What? Just ask in the comments. Like,
Is that my friend Nicole? Shoot.
I feel like we're veering off course here rapidly. That's fine, though. This is not going to be a fluid
Does
podcast.
that 14 mean that we have 14 people watching or you have 14 subscribers?
First of all, don't Eva, do I have 14 subscribers? I clearly have triple digits of subscribers at least. That means 14 people are watching, yes. Are you freaking out? Because this
No.
now this is like a performance.
You guys, we do a How to Watch TV podcast, Severance. We'll do it tomorrow or today if it lets us. Don't have a. This is America.
Somebody else went in there with the Don Tiva. I know that's Big L.
Nicole Christina's Don Tiva.
She said, no, Big
Yes,
L
Michelle.
is Big L.
I
is
knew
Don
it,
Tiva.
Nicole.
Thanks, Big L. This is America.
That's funny. People want to know what happened.
Well, where?
So
where'd
this
it
is
go?
rated MA for mature audience.
Mature audiences. Michelle, you're going to have to leave then.
Mature audiences.
This is for mature people.
Brought to you by Not a Fair Life.
Okay.
It's a protein shake. 30 grams. You can get Sam's Club.
I'm also drinking beverage, but it's crayon grape, not
That
wine.
does not mix well with my Ricola honey cough drop, let me tell you.
I can imagine that would not be good. Sponsored by Ocean Spray.
Gatorade.
What? No, stop. There's
not.
just too many sponsors. You can't sponsored by that many people. They'll stop thinking it's real.
It's sponsored by Don Tiva and Michelle Velez events.
Don Tiva here. Wait. 1 second. Who's this Don Tiva we speak of? Don Tiva here, live on the podcast, back with
You
Michelle.
need the glasses, though, for Don Tiva.
Oh, yeah, well, that's why Don Tiva's not here right now.
He's a fraud. Oh, we just lost 2 viewers. Okay.
That's what happens when you invite Don Tiva on.
So
Skimming viewers right off the top.
start back to, what do people want to know?
I think we almost have to go back to, we got married in August of 2022.
And then my period stopped.
Whoa.
Oh.
Rewind. Michelle just going straight to it. Hey, Jesse. Wow. No, we got married in 2022, and that's when we decided we were going to start trying to have kids.
Yeah.
And then 2 years later, almost.
Oh, yeah.
What was it? April of 2024? Or April of last year? That when we went to Hawaii?
To Hawaii. That's when they induced my period.
Was that before Hawaii or
It
after?
was just after, so it was like May.
Okay.
Yeah, I had no clue.
But we have been trying for 2 years to no avail,
Yes,
basically.
correct. And I was like, it's because Joel's too old. Or
I just swear to you, you wouldn't believe the judgment I felt being poured down onto me, whether it was intended or not. I'm sure it was. But, yeah, and when it finally happened, that was a moment of victory for me. Like, I freaking told you, I'm fine. Everything's fine. Don't ever.
is it though?
Well,
But,
we'll see.
Yeah. So, where do we start from there? You're good at prompting stuff.
Well, from there, we went to Hawaii, came back, and then you were almost immediately pregnant after that.
June 30th? No, July 1st, and then I think we found out.
Was it July 1st? Yeah, okay. So we got back at the end of April, beginning of May. And then at the beginning of June, you were pregnant.
Yeah. Okay, so it's like 4 weeks. It's like almost 4 weeks. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So loss is real. If you know, you know. Nicole said you can finally have beer.
Me?
I don't know. Maybe she meant me. But yes, I do have a beer as well, just in case it gets to that. I may as well let it start.
But anyways,
Wow.
so what had happened was the first time around,
Oh, sorry, I'm not doing ASMR.
I was gonna say, I hope it's good ASMR though. I think it was the end of June. Yeah, I think so.
Oh, it might have been end of June, early July.
The July party.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep, and we wouldn't have been able to keep that a secret for a month.
Right.
So anyways, 2 months. So whatever, lost helped. Are you done with your thing?
And I don't want to like suck on my cough drop too loudly in the mic.
Yes, again, not ASMR.
Okay.
So we find out, we're excited. We go for, an ultrasound? It's what turned out to be 7 weeks,
I
4
feel like I
days.
have to tell the backstory of this doctor's office and who I
It's
thought
the
it
whole
was.
thing. Yes, this
Okay.
is where we're at.
Can I legally say names? So this person.
I wouldn't.
Okay.
I would not say names, just because you would then have to say allegedly, even though it happened
Gosh,
directly
the
to you.
funniest
But
part is though, that
but you can say.
I forgot that doctors have a very common last name.
Yeah, see, you can say that. Make up
So-
a new name, but don't say the other one on accident.
We were going to the OB place just around the corner from our house because at that point we didn't know where do you go to for stuff.
Henceforth referred to as Corner OB.
Yeah. And so our PCP had recommended me to my current physician, but there was a wait list and they weren't accepting just new patients unless you were pregnant. So me just researching, okay, here's this Crown Point clinic. Crown Point OBGYN. They have many doctors. Who was it? Oh, you'll never know. Message me and I'll tell you. So
We don't want to get sued.
we ended up going to
No slander.
my first appointment because we couldn't get pregnant and I wasn't getting any periods. And it's like, okay. I mean, it was kind of nice, but also,
Well, I mean, you say it was kind of nice. It had been nearly 3 months at
Well,
that
as
point.
a girl to not have to bleed and be on a period, that's what I meant.
Well, no, I get that aspect of it, but you start to go,
Hey,
what's
Sarah.
going on here? Go
Right. Sorry, it's going to get really detailed, FYI.
on. Hey, Sarah. Hey, Nicole. Hey, Don T. That's Big L. Hey, Jesse. I'm just making sure I say hi to everyone in the
Did
chat.
he put a diaper? That's Captain Under.
I can't even see what it is, guy. The things are so small.
Anyways, okay, we're sidetracking.
Yep. It's fine. We'll do that a million
So
times.
we go to this first appointment, and whoever my doctor was supposed to be, they had an emergency. So I ended up seeing one of the nurse practitioners, I'm not sure who. And we never even went into an actual doctor's room. It was just this room, this big round old wooden table, and all these like precious moment photos on the wall.
Oh, was that one where it was like there was like a picture of Notre Dame or something on the wall? I remember sitting in there and it was
wasn't even like an actual
no
office.
I remember
but
that.
It was just
I remember that day feeling very weird in that situation because it felt like you were about to be lectured or like you were in trouble.
Yeah, I was like-
it was a weird setup where you're like in this back office and then they got the table and then are you really sitting at the table? There's also some other, I don't know, it was
right.
weird.
So long story short, because I like to
like
make long stories long.
Yep. Well, this is a podcast.
A regular MA came in, got all our info, and then nurse practitioner, I think on nutrition or something that she specialized in, came and talked to us, and then pretty much gave them the rundown. Couldn't get pregnant, blah blah blah. Period stopped. She said, okay. We'll do. I think they did blood work. I'm not sure. They probably did, and they pretty much said if you don't get your period after, or wait another month and call us. Okay,
So this might have been at 2 months of not having one then.
something.
Because you only got to about 90 days.
It was I remember in October they stopped. And I remember,
Oh, but we just didn't count it.
yeah.
I see.
Probably even September, really. So, and this was 2023. Because in 2020, yeah.
Okay.
Then finally I called them back after like 3 months. And I was like, yeah, my period sucks. They're like, if you hit day 90, let us know. So I feel like there wasn't anything that they were doing that whole time.
No, there seemed to be no concern. It
Right,
was
it
just
was just like,
standard procedure here.
Okay. So finally I called them and they're like, okay, we're going to put you on this thing. We're going to induce your period. And I was like, wait, that's a thing. So they put me on this medicine for like 10 days and then you get a period, I guess. So after that, fast forward a few months, we get pregnant. And then I call them back to let them know, hey, I'm pregnant. Can I get an appointment? So I guess those are the next steps.
Yeah.
And they're like, okay, you're going to see, they said, I saw Dr. So-and-so. I was like, no, I didn't. At this point, we hadn't seen an actual doctor, so I didn't know who we were supposed to be seeing.
Uh-huh.
And I was like, I've never seen her. I was like, I haven't seen her since she ripped my tonsils out when I was like 8 years ago or something. And they're like, what? They're like, no, you see Dr. So-and-so. And I was like, no, I don't. And then me not clicking that, there are
Dr.
so many.
So-and-so also
Dr.
ripped up.
So-and-so is also a Dr. So-and-so with the same last name, just turns out to be her sister.
Yep.
And I was like,
And that was Bloody So-and-so.
Yes.
The nickname.
yes, my tonsil surgery was such a traumatic experience. And then,
We're trying really hard to not use the terms that are always used when we talk about these stories.
man, it's in the paper. I think there's a whole trial.
I know, but we don't have to say who it is.
We're not. People may know because they talked to me about it. But
Sorry, did somebody donate? Big L, I'm real sick of your shit.
gosh. You said I couldn't cuss.
No, I said in the first 15, 20 seconds.
Oh.
Don't have a $1.99. Fine, whatever.
It's $5.99. No, just kidding. Okay, so anyways,
It's $5.99.
we get to the appointment. They schedule us, and first of all, they schedule me to see the nurse practitioner, and I was like, okay. And then I called back. I think I don't know what we're doing. I was like, hey, is there anything to switch a different date? And I talked to somebody else, and they're like, okay. They were confused as why I was seeing the nurse practitioner. They're like, you need to see the doctor. And I was like, okay. So that was already confusion. And this whole time, while being at this facility, there were multiple times that they would call me to give me my blood work results, and then like a
20 minutes
few hours later, someone else calls me, a different person, giving me the same information, and then a few days later, hi, I was like, you guys gave this to me like last week. And when I went to that appointment the very first time, when they were checking me out at the end, it's like I had to give them the entire rundown of what my next appointment is for. They're like, okay, and do you know their appointment? I was like, yeah. They're like, for what? What?
Yes, it was not, the communication there was not stellar. Marissa popped in here.
Hi, Marissa.
And Malik. I've always come across you liking stuff, but I have no idea how you came across me. But welcome. And do you know Marissa?
Marissa Halls. I work with her.
Oh, well, hey, Marissa, that works with Michelle. And Don Tiva donated 99 cents again. I swear to God, Big Al.
I can't even buy an ice cream cone for 99 cents, Big Al.
Well, now it's $2.98.
Anyways, so fast forward, we have our first appointment, I think,
I can report him.
in July.
Yeah, it was in July 4th. No, July
4th? Like 6th or something like that.
Wait a minute. No, because was it the 4th? Because it was then
It wasn't
the
on
5th.
4th of July.
It was 7-4 and then 7-5, wasn't it?
That's not the actual date. That's the weeks we found out.
Oh, 7 weeks. Oh, I'm so sorry. Yeah. Sorry. I'm with you.
Dealing with an idiot.
Oh, hey, Karen.
That was rude. Hello, Karen.
We'll just cut to me for a second. This podcast is brought to you by coughing. We all do it. It's all right. It doesn't hurt anybody except the person doing it.
Ooh, I'm back.
All right, and we're back.
Ooh, boy,
Back
it
from
like
that
knocks
commercial
the
break.
wind
Oh
out
man,
of
I
you.
forgot to hold on when I do the N-word. So the Don Tiva don't have a. Okay, we're back. Go ahead.
My cough is really bad. Mm-hmm. Oh my gosh. Anyways,
So whenever that appointment was, we went in there for the ultrasound finally to confirm, right?
it wasn't even an ultrasound. They had to send us elsewhere, but it was to like, they had me pee in the cup. Okay, you're pregnant.
Okay.
And then they send you to the actual hospital. And I was like, dang, this office doesn't even do their own ultrasounds. They do have a machine there. Maybe it costs more. I don't know. So, my favorite coworker, duh. We get to the appointment. They confirm I was pregnant. I think basic labs were drawn. And then we scheduled an appointment to go back in, I believe, August for the next, like, whatever, how many weeks it should have been. I think like 12-week appointment it would have been.
Yeah, I think so. Mm-hmm.
Dawn, okay. I was at Strax last Friday with River.
Okay.
And I see Marissa and her husband, and she comes up to us. She's like, hey. And she's like, oh, where's Don? I'm like, where's Don? She's like, your husband? I was like, his name is Joel. It's his alias as Don Tiva on Facebook. So it was so funny that you're Don.
Yeah, well, you know.
Hilarious.
Don Tiva. It's,
Yes. So, okay. People probably like, why are they still talking about the first miscarriage?
Well, we haven't even gotten to that.
No.
Yeah.
Spoilers.
Yeah, this was last year. She didn't just miscarry that baby. So again, we set up the 12-week appointment, right? Or 13-week is what it was
It
going
was
to be.
like 12, 13.
Yeah. So we go in at 7 weeks, 4 days.
The ultrasound was like on the 16th or something, whatever. Go ahead.
That's
Joe.
irrelevant. We're at 7 weeks, 4 days, and that's when we get confirmation of heartbeat. We're having a baby. Couldn't be more excited. We had been pretty stoked for the 4 days before that we knew they tested pregnant and, whatever. So we then just carry on with our life.
And we did a road trip. My brother had a wedding.
Yep, we drove all the way out. We drove out to California with River, and then
Flew back home.
well, that was we went to the Warner Brothers thing for their
Correct.
Was that the wedding concert?
Wedding concert at Warner Brothers.
Yep, and then we flew back with River, and then
Take her home.
and then we flew back a few days later, and then stayed for LAFCI, the summer thing, summer
at
session
Warner's,
back at
yes.
Warner's, and then we drove home after that.
Yes.
And it was
Whole time.
it was really like everything was going really well, and then we're on our way there, and then one of my contracts is like, yeah, sorry, we didn't budget right for our year, so we're gonna like not pay you anymore. Okay, fair enough.
That was irrelevant.
But that was like as we're on the way there, and the last thing that they had heard from me was that my wife was pregnant. So what are you gonna do? So then we're driving on our way. That's on our way out there. We're in Vegas for that, and then
And this whole time thinking, oh my gosh, we're pregnant. Look at that. There's a pregnant thing inside of me. You're just going cross country. Psych. Sorry, it's going to get dark, humorous.
wait, say that again. We're
Like
gonna go.
thinking, oh, we got a baby. We're taking the baby across country. And it's
Oh,
like,
yeah.
Psych. Ha ha ha.
Well, yeah, because that's when we get back. Then was there something that you were feeling at that point? I can't remember that part
I would
of it.
feel pains, but of course, not knowing what those were. Just regular stuff. People would be like, oh, it's cramping, or not cramping is in a bad way, but just whatever. And throughout this, I had when I say a lot of bleeding, not like period blood, just like spotting for girls, which just very light. But I'd always call and let them know. You know the thing, I called them probably 3 to 5 times, and I only ever talked to the lady that answered the phone. And she's like, oh, you should be fine. I swear to God, that's all she said every single
Sorry, it wasn't. You never even got a call back from a doctor.
No, because they said, oh, light bleeding like that, spotting, it's fine. Every single time. So fast forward, we get back home. We're going to our
13-week appointment.
12, 13-week, whatever
Yeah.
watermark that line's on. Look at this dog.
You can't see him in
I know,
any of the
he's so
shots
cute.
here. No, he's out of the shot, but he's ridiculous.
We go to this appointment, and they're going to confirm the heartbeat. So they just use their little Doppler, which is a little tiny thing, and then they couldn't find anything.
I was actually sitting there, and I'm like in the back. I'm like filming from here because like filming my own reaction, waiting for the heartbeat. And after about a minute, you just see my face change, like from the happy excitement that I was expecting.
This is when Dr. So-and-so was doing it, trying to find it.
Exactly. Dr. So-and-so was in
Okay.
there.
So then
and-
she was like, I can't find a heartbeat. And then it's like, oh, God.
And then I'm just like, okay, stopped recording.
Yeah.
And then she kept trying for a bit.
Yeah.
And then she was like, well, you have to go into the actual, or you have to
They
go
sent
and
us
get
down the hall for an actual ultrasound. And I'm like, wait, you guys have the whole setup here. Why do I have to go to the hospital in the
Wait,
beginning?
hold on. Samantha said, what the crap, man? What the crap about what? You got to be specific here in the comments. We're moving along.
Probably about when I called them,
Oh, and then
I
didn't
would
get a
tell
call
the
back?
receptionist.
Okay.
Because they literally just told me, well, you should be fine. Like, that's literally all I got. Okay, so
I don't know why people keep donating. It's lovely. It was not what we're doing here. I didn't realize.
Big Al.
What do you mean it's just Big Al? Big Al said, dude, I wear a hat at work and people don't recognize me. It's like Clark Kent with his glasses.
Okay. So we got there. So they send us in the room. Did they do a
Yes,
did
it
a
was
regular
that, she
one? They did a regular ultrasound, then they had to do the other ultrasound.
said. What do they call the other one?
Transvaginal.
Oh, okay.
Can we say trans nowadays? Is that banned?
If it means transvaginal.
Okay. I don't like using that word. Oh, God. I'm not gonna have a coughing attack. Not gonna have a coughing attack.
Just here in case Michelle has a coughing attack. I didn't bother to mute her last time, which I
okay.
guess I could do if she starts
All right,
coughing.
I'm back.
Oh, she's back, and we're back.
So then that's when I knew Joel was probably filming the whole time, thinking, ooh. But then
Not at that point.
Not at that one?
Not once we go into the other room. No, I'm expecting the absolute worst because I prepare for the worst case scenario. So that way, if anything better happens, it's a bonus, and I'm not let down because I was already expecting the worst. After she said, "I don't hear anything," my heart sank, and
Like, I just
it was
heard
it.
Joel, like, say, what the fuck?
Well, that was when they went in and said, "I'm sorry, there's no."
Oh, the older lady, she said, I'm sorry, there's no heartbeat. And I was just like...
You heard the tone change before they start talking, and you're just like,
and
oh,
then
what the fuck?
we go back into the
So-and-so's office. Dr. So-and-so.
So let me tell you,
the
from
sister of the other bloody
sister of the other
so-and-so.
sister. So when we get... So, side note, in May, I had lost... Where'd you go?
I just split it.
In May, I had lost 30 pounds,
Yeah.
right, from May to June.
And then you got pregnant. That's what it was.
That too, yes. That definitely helped losing weight.
Yeah.
And then so like my A1C, all those numbers had fallen like into the normal range.
You were getting, the point of that was you had been border, like, what was it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, what was I going to say?
Everything was in the right range.
Right, yeah. And then so when we go back into the room, Dr. So-and-so, she was like, she's just sitting there.
Like in the corner.
Here's her little papers. She's just sitting there. Oh, your baby died because you're diabetic. What?
I swear to you, that's what happened.
Let me tell you, when they called to tell me that my blood level, they're like, oh yeah, your A1C, it was like a 5 point something, whatever. It was normal range. Like, it's a little high, I'm guessing, for being pregnant. But I was like, wait, it got that low? And I was like, that's great news.
Yep.
And then, but no, the baby died because I was diabetic. And I was like, I wasn't even diabetic. I became non-pre-diabetic, whatever word you mean.
Yeah.
And my doctor would have told me, she's like, well, do you see an endocrinologist?
Yeah, just snooty and
No.
like no compassion. It was ridiculous.
Insane. And so that appointment was actually our last appointment at that facility because since we had become pregnant, we were able to use a referral and finally be on the wait list. And we were 3 months out, of course, or whatever, to see our current doctor through Franciscan. He's off of Broadway. I'll send you his info if you need it.
Yes.
But we had planned on that being our last appointment with that facility.
Jesse said, are you fucking kidding me?
No, I am not fucking kidding you.
I promise. I know I do bits.
The look on his face, he was so mad.
I do bits all the time, but I promise you, in that moment I said, if we could just pause for a second. You said very casually there that she's diabetic, and she's not diabetic. And she's just like, yeah, she's diabetic. That probably is what made it so the baby didn't survive. And I'm just like,
Y'all want the address now? Just kidding. I'm joking. I wouldn't do that.
No, nobody would do that. We would never dox somebody. That would be illegal.
Gosh.
And we have 17 people watching, so, I wouldn't want it to be
Love the confetti. Ooh. Anyways.
These are the messes I have to clean up every day.
No, I'm keeping a little pile contained here. So, yeah. So, and this was...
So that was the last day we were there.
before our anniversary.
Oh, also during this time was when Echo got sick.
Like 2 weeks before Echo got sick. She lasted like a good 2-3 weeks.
Well, they told us that your appointment was supposed to be on the 21st, which was our anniversary.
Our anniversary on the 20th.
20th, sorry. The dates are all, it was supposed to be on the 20th, but then we went on the 21st, right? Because on the 20th we had to take Echo.
Yeah, so we put Echo down on our anniversary.
No, we didn't.
Oh.
We found out that she had to be put down, that she was dying.
Oh, yeah.
That was the day
time.
where it was like, okay, now she's going to have to go. And they're like, do you want to do it today? And I just walked out of the room, remember? I'm like, nope, not doing this right now. We took her to the place in Lowell.
That was a few weeks before that.
I thought it was literally, we did put her down the day before?
Yes.
Oh, I forgot. I got the timelines all messed up there.
At the end of July, we knew she was getting sick, and we took her to the doctor, and they're like, do you want to put her down? We're like, no, because we wanted the kids to see her, and then they put her on a bunch of fluids.
And then she was good until...
Yes.
Until then, okay, sorry.
It was August 19th, and we saw she stopped eating, and we were like, it's time, we have to. And then I went to work, and then Joel texted me, we have to take her.
Yeah.
And then so I was so stuck with, do I come home and go? I wanted to say goodbye to her, but I was like, I don't know if I could be in the actual room. But I'm so glad I was, of course. So...
Dr. So-and-so needs a worse name, and Dr. So-and-so needs shit reviews on Google and Yelp.
It's insane, yes. Like, yeah.
Again, feel free to message, and you can get an actual name, but
again, I can't, like, when someone on one of the town group Facebook pages was asking about people, I was recommending Who I See Now.
Yeah.
There were people recommending Dr. So-and-so, and I shared my experience, but I said that was only my experience. It may be different for other people. So I'm not there bashing, you know what I mean?
Right.
But also in a way, what in the actual fuck?
Yeah.
Mind blowing the entire
I don't want a scarecrow for a
experience
doctor. Call
over
me
there.
crazy. I don't want
It was
to.
insane. It was insane. Where I'm just like, what is going on? Anyways, so yeah. So when we find out we miscarried in
So,
August.
but then they tell us, yes.
yes, and so I'm getting there.
Okay.
I was like, okay, so what do we do now? And she was like, oh, just let it pass. And I'm like, okay, I don't know.
Right.
And so I think at this point I was like Googling stuff.
But this is before we left. They told us, they said that when we found out the baby was had a heartbeat, it was 7 weeks, 4 days, and they told us they said it had not grown, but to 7 weeks, 5 days. So after we confirmed she was pregnant for 1 day with an alive baby, and then we went on for 6 more weeks with her being pregnant and feeling stuff that was pregnancy related, but it wasn't pregnancy related. You know what I mean? Like it wasn't the good pregnancy feelings. So how is a first time pregnant person supposed to know what is a good feeling and what is a bad feeling? Like that's terrifying to me for you, because it's like every single thing you might feel is like, is it stretching? Is it growing?
Right.
Is it dying?
That's
like
why.
That's terrifying.
We'll get into it, but that's why the paranoia, like it was really bad when we got pregnant the second time around, because all those feelings in the beginning, they were very similar. When I say pains, it's just I don't want to say pain, it wasn't necessarily painful, but it's discomfort feelings.
Yeah.
Where I'm like, oh my gosh, I felt this before. Is the baby dying inside of me right now? Can I go get blood work? Can we check? Can we do this?
We do an ultrasound.
You know what I
Yeah.
mean? So we'll get there though.
So then we're done with this place. And
So
then
I make a phone call to my new
your
doctor.
current OB, yeah. We
Let them
don't need
know.
to name names.
Right. I said, hi, I have my first appointment with you guys tomorrow. We just found out we miscarried. Do I still attend this appointment? They said yes to get established as a patient. I was like, okay. And at this point, I didn't know of any other plans on what to do after. We just figured, okay, I miscarried, so now it's just going to...
Right, it's going to pass at some point. Yeah, yeah.
So...
Not putting together, it's been 6 weeks.
Right. So we went to this appointment the next day, and I saw the nurse practitioner. I wasn't supposed to see the doctor, but after explaining everything to her, she was just kind of like mind blown. She was like, wait, what? And so she's like, I'm going to go get good doctor.
Dr. Good.
Doctor. I almost said his name.
Dr. Good.
Oh, it's a Do we know, though?
What?
Anyways, so she called him in, and I was like, yeah, they said just let it pass. And I was like, yeah. And he was like, this
It's
should
been
have
6 weeks.
passed it should have passed within 2 weeks. The fact that it didn't pass, and then hearing all the potential things that could have happened to me with a little floater dead inside of me, like what? So he said, we're having
Come
the
back to that at some
procedure.
point, too. Make a mental note about leaving a floater. Carry on.
Good Lord. So he said, we're having the procedure tomorrow. It was
Yeah, it was the next
in
day.
2 days.
It was the next day.
The next day, the 23rd.
Yeah, so it was the 20th for echo, the 21st we found out, and then your appointment was the next day, and then the 22nd, so then the 23rd is when you had the procedure.
Yes, they did a DNC,
Mm-hmm.
dilation, and
You know what I assumed that stood for? Did not conceive. But we did. But we did conceive, was what my
Joel.
argument with myself on trying to figure out the acronym. I never Googled it.
anyways, I feel like he just did that to be funny. But
I
don't know.
didn't. I swear to you, that's what
This
I
is
thought.
coming from the guy who said when he was younger, he thought the wind chill meant like how cold the windshield was in his car or something.
I'm like, why does anybody need to know this information? I was 17, 18 when I figured out that wind chill did not mean the temperature on your windshield. I'm like, people are driving different speeds.
Oh boy.
But that was
Anyways.
real.
So we go in for this procedure, and I was like, holy moly, this is like an actual surgery? I'm getting put under and everything.
Yep.
And it was just an outpatient thing. And I'm like, okay. So we have that, come home. I could not walk after this procedure.
Surprising.
I was very dizzy. I do not do well under anesthesia.
I was going to say that, but I didn't know if you wanted me to share
You don't
that.
know what Michelle you're going to get. You may get attitude Michelle. You may get happy Michelle. I may be crying.
Wait, attitude, Michelle?
So, yeah, with anesthesia, I think.
You're on the wrong miscarriage there, Sarah. She said you found out she was sick within like a day of the miscarriage, or did that happen on the first one?
Huh?
Sarah said you found out she was sick within like a day of the miscarriage.
The first one?
I don't know. I think she's
was
talking.
sick?
I think she might be talking. You.
I'm sick right now?
No. Sarah said you found out she was sick within like a day of the miscarriage. I don't know what she's talking about.
So maybe saying the baby was sick? Mm-mm. Sarah, clarify.
Yeah.
So,
Sarah Claire.
anyways, we go in for the procedure. Everything was fine. I was, of course, like groggy. I was super sore. But then
They said basically, because we were like, well, how long do we have to wait to start trying again? Because we're like, let's do it. Let's carry on. We're gonna make this happen. And he said, wait 14 days. And
I think to make sure I was healed, like from the procedure.
and
good enough.
after when we found out that she was pregnant, it turned out that after 5 days she was pregnant. You know, like when we did the math backwards, 5 days after the
was like,
procedure.
oh, no.
First time. I told you my boys were swimmers, and that's
Okay.
all I'm saying. We're good.
Oh, echo sick. Sarah, why are you texting?
Oh, she said first miscarriage, sorry driving, echo sick. Yes, yeah, we already told that part of the story, Sarah. If you were watching,
Make it rain, Sarah.
I'm gonna have to clean that up.
It's in one
For now.
area, Joel.
Now it's in one area.
We're gonna get smaller and smaller. Okay. So fast forward, we're pregnant, and I immediately call our OB's office. I let them know, and they right away send me for blood work. Like, okay, go to the lab. The order's in already. And then they call me, like, okay, it's confirmed. And they said, go back tomorrow. We want you to get some more blood work. So they kept sending me back like every 2 days. And it turns out they know what they're doing. And my progesterone levels kept drastically dropping.
Yes.
So they put me on progesterone pills that I had to 3 times a day.
So basically, I think the takeaway from that is that from the first miscarriage, we learned that what probably caused it was her progesterone levels, not her diabetes.
I didn't have diabetes.
That was the sarcasm in there. Sorry
Oh.
if that wasn't present or clear
wasn't
in my
present.
delivery. But it felt like, okay, well, that served a purpose in teaching us that she needs to be fed the progesterone, so to speak, you know, for the second try. We're getting there, is my
Right,
point. Like, it
yeah.
feels like, okay, cool, we know something different now. These people are actually paying attention and checking my levels, and we're going to make progress this time.
Right.
And boom, pregnant.
So the whole time in the beginning, so last time around we posted a video, like, because we were so excited, like, ooh, pregnant.
Revealing to the kids and everybody,
Me
yeah.
not knowing that you have to wait till like 12 weeks to get past the safe mark of not miscarrying. Mm-hmm. And so, of course, we were excited to share. Next time we get pregnant, we'll share again.
Yeah,
whatever.
Absolutely.
People say, oh, don't post about it, but we're going to post about it. So, of course, I was so paranoid for any little thing. So I was constantly utilizing my chart to send messages. It's great. If you don't have my chart, get it. What was it? I don't even know everything was fine.
Wait, what are we talking about at this point? Where are we at in the story?
I guess the pregnancy and what I was feeling, maybe how I was paranoid for certain things. I'd be like, ooh, I don't feel good. I'm like, no, but this is normal.
Right.
I was always so worried. I was like, how do we know that my progesterone levels are increasing like 2 weeks later? Because I had to take the pills up until the 12th week
Right.
of gestation. 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 I never know.
It's just
Whatever.
gestation.
So,
And I don't say that in jest.
okay, Joel. So I would always call them like, can I get blood work again to see? And then they're
Like,
like,
can we get an ultrasound?
they're like, we typically don't do that because if the levels were like dropping, we don't want you to see it. It was weird. I don't know. So anyways, the levels kept rising. I was like, okay, yay. So it was just kind of like reassurance. I think at one point there was 0 bleeding until maybe December. I noticed very light spotting. And at this week we had just hit past 12 weeks, I think.
Yes, because
About-
we were doing, where was that at? Was that at a party? Was that at Thanksgiving? When was that we were at my parents' house in the back of the room and we announced that, it was a girl? Like, do you remember? I feel like that was Thanksgiving or something like that. I don't think it was Christmas.
It had to have been after because we didn't post it until
Was it after Christmas, really?
not after Christmas. It was in the beginning of December, I think.
Oh, okay.
That first weekend or something.
I'm just trying to think why we would have all been there.
So I had zero bleeding until probably nearing the 12th week or something. And it was just, I remember I was at work. It was like the tour of lights.
Yeah.
And then I freaked out. And it was so minimal too, but that was the first sign of a speck of blood. And so that's why I got concerned, because I was like, oh, because as I think back to each pregnancy now, the first pregnancy, I noticed spotting all throughout the way, which they're like, it's normal, you should be fine. Should be
Right.
fine. They didn't tell anybody or whatever. And then so everything was fine up until the 12 weeks. Everything was still fine. We went to the emergency room because I called the doctor's office. I was like, hey, I have very light spotting.
Right.
I'm just letting you know. I called and let them know every single detail.
Oh, God, yes. I mean, it was like...
If I would feel stuff at 4 a.m, I sent a whole long thing on my chart just because my thoughts are fresh. And then I got a call the next morning. They're like, hi, Michelle. It's nurse practitioner so-and-so.
They'd address each
They're
thing.
like,
yeah.
thank you for the letter. They're like, you're fine. Those are all normal. And they're like, I was like, okay, I'm just worried because I don't know. They're like, it's totally fine. So,
Yep.
okay.
So this is when we started going to that place uptown for the ultrasounds, remember?
Oh, yeah. So we would go. There was like,
Peace of mind kind of
Love
thing.
My Scan or something.
We'll give them a plug. They are great.
Yeah.
Is that what it's called?
Something like that. I don't know. I have to look at the proper name.
Okay.
Love
I'm just
at
saying.
First Scan or
Love at
something,
first scan.
but-
Yeah, Love at First Scan or something like that. It's right uptown in Crown Point, and it's a great service. You can go in there and they'll just like chill on it for like a half hour and let you see the baby. And
Chill on it.
well, you know what I mean? Like normally it's a real quick in and out kind of procedure where it's just like, oh, they put it on you. Oh, there's
Right.
the baby's going. Yeah, good. Got a couple pictures out. They're just
So we
like
went
sit
there like 2 or 3 times. And I'm curious what the last one was because we went there probably.
It was when Ashley and them were in town for Christmas.
Yeah, it was like December 28th or something. It was very, very. So it was probably. So yeah. Anyways,
It would have been about 16 weeks,
I don't know.
something.
Moving forward, what do you got?
I mean, then we get to January, right? I mean, essentially.
Is that it?
In
Oh, so we went to the ER visit and everything ended up being fine. And I was like, oh, I feel so bad for just coming here and blah, blah, blah. They're like, no, anytime you see blood, always go to the ER.
Right.
So I'm like, okay.
yeah. And then did you call again in January or like the day before? Are we to that point yet? Is there something in between those two things?
No. So, okay, so I started getting extreme back pain. Extreme.
When was this?
Probably ending November, for sure, all through December.
Okay.
Because I started going to the chiropractor at the beginning of the year. This was about 2 weeks that I was seeing the chiropractor. 100% better now. Well, obviously now because there's nothing in me. But, sorry. So,
I'm with you.
when I went to my, I don't know what appointment it was, December 23rd, saw the nurse practitioner, and I told her about my extreme back pain. I had called them numerous times, letting them know. And she was like, oh, what did you do? I'm like, what do you mean, what did I do? Did you just pull a beer out of your fanny pack? Mm-hmm. Oh, it's the fanny pack cooler I bought him.
Oh, yeah. I don't know if you can see it. You can't, but it's the WWE fanny pack cooler. Whatever. Continue.
So she was like, what did you do? I was like, got pregnant? Like, I don't know. People say.
What did you do?
Yeah, she said, what did you do? Like, I didn't fall down the stairs and hurt my back. So she recommended I go to a chiropractor that from having back pain. So I was thinking, is it pregnancy related? And I heard from other people, no, we got back pain this far early. It's normal. Some people get it way less. Anyways, it was so bad where I was literally crying at night, sobbing, just sitting there in bed. Mm-hmm. I would not sleep. I'd be so tired, and it was just so painful. And then I'd be slouching over. I couldn't walk. I'm an event planner, so I like to have a lot of parties or any little themed thing at the house. And I would take it easy, and that was minimal stuff I would do. And I would prep way in advance. And at the end of the night, I would come and sit down, And then after like 5 minutes, I would try to stand up and I would just start like crying, and I had to lay back down because it was so painful. I physically could not walk. I
And
could
that's
not
literally
stand
just
straight.
that's just from walking around the house and like talking to
Yes.
people and like helping in the kitchen and stuff. Nothing crazy. It was
Right.
like me after I've shot a wedding for 13 hours and I get in the car and then I get out of the car and I'm like,
Yes.
I can't move anymore. What happened?
So I remember, what was it? It would be so bad. I think I went to the grocery store one time to get ready for like our Christmas party. I think you were filming somewhere. And I remember like I was on the phone with my mom and I just felt so sick. The food aversions were insane. Insane. Even looking at boxes and pictures of the food made me want to gag.
Yeah.
I couldn't even look at them. But that's when I remembered my back was hurting so bad. And yet I'm feeling like I want to puke. I was at Big Strax.
Okay.
And I'm hanging on to
We
this.
call the one on Broadway Big Strax and the one on Franciscan Little Strax.
I was hanging on to the shopping cart. And I was like, I couldn't even walk anymore. I was like, I had so much to buy still and shop, but I was so dizzy. My back hurt so bad.
I could probably go back to the live text from that day if you tell me the date.
That's okay.
It takes 7 years to scroll back that
That's
far.
okay. Anyways, I feel like I'm just dragging this out.
It's fine.
Okay.
We're getting there.
Fast forward. Those are just like some of the symptoms I noticed.
No, but this is
They're
all leading up to it
normal.
because we're going to get to it and then it's it. You know what I
So
mean?
I went to the chiropractor and I did my research. I always post online, like, I can look up places. I always wondered, how come people just don't Google their own stuff? But I wanted to hear any reputable facts or who someone recommended from their experience versus just looking or calling, whatever.
Right.
So this guy that I went to, he was great. Experience with doing chiropractic work with pregnant women. And when I went into the office, he had a lot of information like on their pregnancies, different weeks,
Okay.
stuff like that. So,
Oh, chiropractor wise.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. and every time I'm like, okay, baby safe, like, cause we would lay on my stomach for certain things, crack the back, everything, whatever. And again, I think the back pain was from like, your ligaments and everything is changing and adjusting and making room for stuff. So yeah, you're going to be sore and tight. But worked wonders. I felt better.
It did help.
Yeah.
Okay.
From that first week. Of course, you feel a little banged up after the first few sessions.
Yes.
But you're fine after that. And it was great. So then fast forward to our 20-week appointment. And
Oh, are you stretching?
What is it? Our 20-week appointment?
yes, on the 19th or the 20th, whatever date that.
It would have been either the 19th or 20th.
My voice is getting, my throat is so dry.
Well, take a minute. I can do a commercial. Here we are at the. Oh, okay, we're back. Never mind.
So we have, and this is when my wrists started to hurt. You don't gotta go off.
I'm stretching.
Oh, this is when my wrists started to hurt. So I also started watching my niece Josephine. Shout out to Josephine. And I play guitar, so I don't think anything of it. Like if I had wrist problems back in the day, I would have gotten them already. I feel like, but so my wrists were hurting, and it had gotten so bad I had made an appointment with the orthopedic surgeon, the hand doctor, on the same day as my OB appointment for my 20-week appointment. We go to the OB appointment. I mentioned like the hand stuff. Oh, first, the medical assistant couldn't find the heartbeat with the Doppler. I'm just like, oh my gosh.
Yeah, talk about panic. Again.
Yes, that was the worst.
I was just like, oh, come on, don't give me this.
So
I
I'm
was like,
like-
why are we not just going to transvaginal immediately?
I don't say that word. So
TV.
yeah. So I'm sitting there like prepping myself for the worst. I'm like, I swear to God, I'm like, not again.
I agree. I was also thinking, not again. Let's please not even remotely get close to that. I can't even fathom the devastation that would be on my wife's face and soul if this happens again.
But wait, there's more. It was
I
the-
genuinely felt that. I want you to know that. I
Oh,
genuinely
yeah.
felt like
Me too.
she does not deserve to feel this again. I don't want this to happen to her. I mean, obviously,
that deep, jeez.
I'm just saying, I was terrified because for you, like,
Uh-huh.
ugh.
And then so she's like, let me go get someone to confirm. I'm like, confirm what? So then the nurse comes in and then she immediately finds it. She's like, oh, she was just hiding. I'm like, okay. But when she pushed on it, it hurt. And again, I'm thinking, oh, it's normal. So before this, I started feeling like light cramps, but again, around 18, 19, 20 weeks, the light cramps are normal. So they say a week before this, I had texted Joel. I was at work. I used the bathroom. We're going to get TMI. Sorry. Why'd you go away?
I was checking Facebook comments. I just didn't want to be staring down at my phone on the screen. That's all.
I like when you're here. I could talk better.
I'm here.
Right.
Fine. There.
Okay.
Just don't mind
So
me
then-
browsing my phone. I'm paying attention.
Okay. What else? Where'd we go to?
I don't know what you were talking about there. I literally just opened it up to
You
see
gotta
if
pay attention.
I thought you were handling it for a second there.
No.
No comments. I thought there'd be any comments, just in case there was something worth saying. Beer drink break.
That's a very nice picture. The lighting is very vibrant.
Yeah, no lights on here currently except hair lights.
Where was I? I talked about going to my. You got like beer sudsy on your beard. There you go. Where was I? What was I saying?
It's a beard.
What was I saying?
You were at the appointment.
See, you weren't paying attention. That's what I gotta deal with. I forget.
I was there for every second, for the record.
I know. What was I talking about, though?
Doesn't mean I remember every
What
detail.
was I talking about, though? Can you help me out?
We were between the.
Went to the bathroom. Oh, thank you, Sarah, for paying attention as you're driving.
Yes, thank you.
Come on, Joel. I'm not even driving.
When did you go to the bathroom? Where are you at?
Work.
Okay,
Oh my gosh.
I'm with you.
So I went to the bathroom at work and I texted Joel. I was like, I feel like I'm about to pee a tampon out. I felt like there's a tampon in me, but what? Can I not say that?
Yes, you can say it's just a visual.
Well, I don't think it. And I was like, wait, it feels like there's a plastic applicator stuck inside of me. You don't know what that feels like, but.
I don't know.
And so I was like, my man doesn't wipe good enough. I just went back and I'm like, okay, I feel fine.
Nicole jumped in. The
then-
nurse came in and found the heartbeat. You were at work and went to the bathroom.
Yeah, thank you. So yeah, so I didn't think anything of that, and I was just like, okay. But these are things that I take note of going back, like thinking, what was my body feeling? What was happening? This was happening before.
Right.
So it was, I think, when did we watch Modern Family? We had Arby's, either Saturday night or Sunday night.
Did you say what? Modern Family at Arby's?
Yeah, we bought Arby's. We watched an episode of Modern Family in the living room, and I was sitting there in my t-shirt, and I was like, I feel like I'm like wetting myself or something. And I was like,
Oh, you were
Not
like, yeah,
I'm peeing on myself.
You were like, I
just-
feel like I'm leaking, essentially. Yeah.
So I just grabbed the Arby's napkin and boop, and then we just continue eating. And then I get up and we're done.
This is from my wife who never shares anything. I
I know.
love it so much.
And then I was like, well, this is kind of wet. It wasn't pee. I don't know what it was. So I just tossed it. Whatever.
Oh God, this is the night before, isn't it?
Yes. And then wait, it gets even better. So Monday.
Wait, what day are we on now? Currently?
This is still Sunday. Monday was the appointment. When did I make my post about baby shower vendors?
It must have been that night, like that Sunday night.
It was. Yeah. So, no, it was Monday night.
It couldn't have been because Monday we were at the hospital.
No, we weren't. We went to the hospital at 3:30 a.m. Tuesday.
Oh, I'm sorry then. I thought the Arby's incident was the night before.
Sunday-ish.
I thought it was the night before. My bad. So carry on.
So we go to the OB appointment. We see good doctor. And it was very, very brief. It was like 5 minutes with him in there. And I was like,
good
why was
doctor
it
is
so
my favorite.
quick? Because my 20-week anatomy scan ultrasound was scheduled for the next day at the hospital.
Right.
So they want to see more of those details. So just a basic checkup, kind of like, how you doing? And I mentioned, I've been feeling a pain on my right side and the left side. About 2 weeks ago, I noticed it hurts to land my stomach, like painful. But again, me thinking, they're like, no, that's all normal. And of course, I
Right.
think, which the common pregnancy world of things, that's normal.
Yeah.
So how am I supposed to think that anything else different was happening?
That's what I'm saying. Like there should be some sort of a guide that like tells you what you're supposed to feel and what you're not. What's
But
a
it's so
good feeling?
different
What's a
for
bad-
every single person,
It's
though.
crazy. It's an insane feat of humanity that you can create a person inside you. So like
Mm-hmm.
I'm in awe of it still. So like we'll get there.
My throat is hurting so bad talking.
Are you okay? Like do you want to?
Okay. You can hear it getting more like.
If you want me to take over at any point, I just don't want to step on your toes for your story. Essentially, I mean, I know I'm involved, but
when we get to like the in-hospital stuff, you know those details too.
Well,
But these are like
once we get to the morning when you woke me up, I can jump in then
yes.
because
Yeah.
I do have details that
was
you
great.
don't know.
Well, of course.
Yeah, just like how I was feeling and stuff.
So, where are we at here? Go to the appointment, tell him I'm experiencing this. I got light cramping. I guess it was more than like cramping because it was kind of consistent, but it was still so light. I don't know, normal, I guess. And so he's like, no, that's all normal, you know, your aches and pains. And I'm like, okay. But that weekend, I remember like in the kitchen or by the fridge, I just like sat and I was like, I feel like something's not right. Something doesn't
I do remember
feel
you
right.
saying that. And it really,
fucking knew it. I
really,
fucking knew it.
really pissed me off.
I knew.
Because I was like, come on, man, stop being so negative.
I knew.
Yeah, I get it, but like I didn't want that. I was wanting you to feel good about it.
Something bad was happening, but I
know.
knew something inside. I was like,
But you
this
plant
doesn't
that in your head, and that's
right.
not going to be good. You know what I mean? Like that's
Right.
not going to end well necessarily.
But
Not
also
that
me
that
being
causes
told
it.
everything. Oh no, you're fine, Michelle. You're overthinking it.
Yeah, I
But
was just
also-
like, come on.
So
just
now
be
I know for
positive.
next time. Wait, no, go with your gut. If you feel something,
Yeah.
something might be wrong. Exhibit A. Ta-da!
Exhibit B. We already had Exhibit A. Exhibit A was last
Already on
August.
Plan B. I'm not gonna make a joke like that.
You just did.
So, anyways, find the humor in the dark times.
Next time, go with Plan C.
Oh my gosh.
Whatever your joke is for Plan
Okay.
C.
Okay. So we leave the appointment. We go run some errands. We come back to the house. My hand appointment for my wrist was scheduled for 1 p.m. I think.
Okay.
And then it was like 12 o'clock. I used the bathroom. Then I wipe and I noticed blood. And I was like, uh-oh. I'm not going to show pictures here. I was going to show stuff, but
We'll definitely have to blur it. Let me just find a Gaussian filter here that I
like
can.
very graphic. So
I haven't even looked at them because that kind of stuff makes me queasy and like it just I feel
he
bad
doesn't
about
support
it.
me on that.
Okay.
I'm just kidding. He does. So
Support.
I like wipe and I was like, oh, blood. And I was like, well, let me just call them. I'm like, well, they're gonna say it's just blood.
It's
But
just
not
blood.
that it's just blood. You know what I mean?
just
It was so
blood.
minimal. It was just like the spotting again.
It's just blood.
And because the
Get outta
last
here.
time when we went to the hospital, they were like, oh, you were fine. So I was like, oh, I'm probably fine again. But so I thought, did she push so hard on me when she got the heartbeat with the Doppler? And then it caused me to
Bleed.
bleed or whatever. So right away I called them up. The nurse calls me back. And they're like, no, Michelle. They're like, it could be from coughing or sneezing too hard. And I was like, okay. I was like, And I was like, but it's kind of mucusy with like streaks of blood and everything. It was different than what like the other kind had been. And that one time around. And then so I think it was like later in the evening. It was still there. It was still occurring. We go to my appointment. I ended up getting a steroid shot in my left wrist. Helped tremendously because at that point I couldn't even turn a doorknob. I couldn't lift my sheet. It was terrible. And then it started in my right wrist. Got a cortisone shot 2 weeks ago. This one wore off last Monday. They gave me a second one.
I got the carpal tunnel surgery
Yes.
and just had that. I don't know if that'll focus on that. Probably not. Oh, there you go.
You can
it's
see it.
not bad. It's not really a
Looks
bad
really
scar.
good. Okay.
Anyways.
jumping back in.
I've always wanted to do that close-up thing where you have a rack
better.
focus. Oh, look at that. Oh, okay. Continue.
I've never been told that by a doctor. What? Wait, been told what?
I forgot what you were talking about that the doctor told you. Oh, that bleeding was fine?
Oh, like the coughing or sneezing. Oh, because she was like, oh, it's probably from coughing or sneezing, like from having a little bit of blood.
Okay. Yes, again, please, when leaving comments, tell us what you're talking about because we may have moved on to the next sentence and therefore the previous one is gone. Thanks, Sam. Appreciate your commentary here and joining in. Thank you for watching, everybody. Like, it's one of the harder things that we've ever been through, so it's nice to be able to kind of talk about it and, you know,
So,
put it out there.
why do you sound all sad?
But, oh, hey guys, this is one of the saddest
I
things
am not
ever.
an emotional person, so you
I
will
am.
not see. Joel is, so that's.
I am an emotional person, and
Gosh.
I'm holding it together
You
just
have
fine.
blood, like when you cough or sneeze. Oh, yeah. So I was like, when I cough or sneeze, I'm like, okay, whatever.
Thank you for clarifying.
So, get my cortisone shot. and then I'm still like bleeding, just like not a lot, but I noticed it was like just like this mucusy stuff, and I was like, huh, okay. Then I remember, I think in the evening.
Who keeps sharing money with us? Well, I appreciate it, but what are we doing here? I didn't know that was a thing.
Who's done? It keeps saying
We're
Don
gonna
Teva.
We're gonna start doing live streams all the
not-
time.
isn't that Big Al?
I got bills.
Hey.
What?
Is
No,
it-
it's not Big L. I thought it
Oh.
was. Like, it's just people donating money, and I don't get it. I love it. Thank you so much. But we'll start doing live streams all the freaking time if that's
Stop.
what we're talking about.
Oh my gosh.
I got bills.
Oh gosh. So then I remember texting. I think I texted my mom and Sarah. Because I know Sarah delivered Trey early, and so I was like, oh, she probably knows like the signs and of stuff like this. So I was sending pictures, and then I remember at one point she mentioned like mucus plug. And I was like, what the heck is a mucus plug?
I feel like we're getting into the territories of that class we went to with mucus plug.
And don't even get me started on that.
Nope.
So, it happened. What was the? Gosh, I feel like it was so long ago.
What are we talking about? The mucus plug thing?
Yeah.
Is
Oh,
that
just
what?
when I started bleeding. I remember like a time stamp of like 9:35. There was like a little bit more blood. I think that's when I had wiped. I had seen it, and I was like, oh, it's more mucusy, and like Sarah was like, does it have an odor? I was like, I don't want to smell this, and I was like, it does, and that's when I was like,
You're so full of it when you say you don't want to smell it.
whatever. That's disgusting. I didn't. It was weird. Like, I told you guys it's TMI here. So, sorry, a lot of so's and ums. It's a lot to backtrack.
Look, yeah, we're still processing. That's
I'm
the
not.
thing.
I'm just
Okay.
kidding.
She's done.
Shoot. I'm gonna buy 10 dogs. Don't let me foster dogs. I just randomly take dogs
No,
off of
we're
Facebook
not-
Let me foster. And
Yes,
it's the
we
best
did
thing
that.
ever. Anyways, I sent pictures of Sarah. She's like, I think that's your mucus plug. And I was like,
Why didn't
what?
they tell you to go to L&D?
What's that?
What's L&D? Is that like D&D? L&D, is that labor and delivery?
Oh. So I hadn't called them up yet. Oh, like from when I called and let the doctors know? They just said it was normal at 20 weeks. There's no such thing as TMI when it comes in. Oh, thank you. I appreciate that.
Yes, Michelle doesn't understand sometimes that like it's okay to share in details when it may potentially
Oh my God.
help somebody else, with their potential struggles. And this
crazy.
is something that I didn't realize. I will say that I had never heard the statistic that 1 in 7 is a miscarriage before.
Oh, right, when they told us that.
I had never heard that statistic before. That's insane amounts of miscarriage. Like,
So I guess it's so common.
yeah.
And then the doctor the first time around. So we felt, after going to that backtracking, after going to that first appointment with him the day after we found out, the amount of information and knowledge that we obtained from those 30 to 45 minutes was so much more than we ever got in 2 years from that other place.
Yeah.
And so, of course, it was a sad situation still, but it made us feel, at least made me feel so much better in knowing, I guess, how common it is, but knowing it's such a common thing. Not people just don't talk about it, so I didn't know.
Yeah, no, you don't talk about it unless it happens
And
to
then I
you.
talked to somebody that I know, and they're like, I've had like 5 to 6 miscarriages. I'm like, oh my gosh.
Yeah.
And then but I guess after the first one, usually you have one, they say, and that's about it. And after that, you're kind of fine and successful. But I said if it keeps happening again, then that's when they look into things further to see what's going on. Okay, fast forwarding to,
Are we January 20th yet?
no, I'm still bleeding. So I was texting Sarah pictures, and she's like, you should call your doctor's office or something. And I'm like, girl, they're closed. And she's like, no, they usually have like someone that answers or whatever for like after hours. And so I was like, okay. And then she's like, you should go to the ER. And I was like, nah, I'm fine. I got my appointment in the morning.
Right.
And at this time, I had just made my post because I was planning a baby shower, thinking, okay, because I like to plan things out. I had made a post and I had so many comments for vendors, for things that I wanted.
Yep.
Just to my luck. I was like, okay, message me your pricing, because I like to get ahead of things and book stuff. And, it's going to be so cute. It's still a baby one day. But So I'm like all excited, like going through all those comments and seeing what this person offers and whatnot. And then so I was about to flush the toilet after like sharing those pictures with Sarah. I think I shared it with my mom too. And I was like, wait, I noticed like blood in the toilet, like a little like chunky clot. And I was like, okay. And I think
Wait, when is this? Is this the night?
this is still at nighttime, maybe like 10 o'clock.
The night before?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And I was like, I was taking pictures of everything just to show whether the ultrasound tech or whoever to
Right.
let them know what's coming out of me. Like, is
Yeah.
this cause for alarm? And then, so I was like, okay, I gotta go fishing. So I literally pull the toilet paper out of the toilet, and then I get a Q-tip, and it was definitely like an inch big of some chunky blood. And that's why I was like, okay, great. And at this point in my head, in my mind, I kind of had a feeling what was about to happen, but I wasn't like, of course, I think it wasn't like processed yet, but I was just like, oh my God. And so
I heard nothing of this, by the way. I don't remember hearing anything.
Joel was asleep. I was telling him, he doesn't know that. So
I'm not a neglectful husband. I was just asleep.
and so and then so I get a Q-tip and I like pull it out of the toilet and I like pull it to the side to take a picture, and I was like, okay, that's something. And I think I texted Sarah again.
Something.
That's something. It's something, yeah. Whether it's part of the baby, I don't know. So I think Sarah was like, did you call them yet? I was like, no. And she's like, you should go to the ER. And he's like, no, I'm fine, blah, blah, blah. And I think I mentioned to Joel, I was like, Sarah and my mom said she should go to the ER, but Joel was kind of tired. And so I kind of like felt bad if I had to like get him to wake up. The funny thing
Wow.
is, no, I took a picture of him.
Sure, we reveal this live on air that she would have gone to the hospital, but I was sleeping. Don't ever.
Well, because we were going the next morning. And so I called
Ridiculous.
I called the office number, and then someone answers, and then I explained what was happening, and they said, okay, we'll have the triage nurse call you. And so about 5 minutes later, they call me, and they were very thorough. They talked to me for about like 35 minutes, and she put me on hold for like 15 minutes. So I think she was like consulting with other people, like
Right.
whoever she was working with that night. And then she was like, okay, since you have your appointment in the morning and it's just like light blood, she was like, just go ahead and monitor it. She's like, you don't have to go to the hospital right now.
Right.
I'm thinking like, okay. And she was like, but if you start to bleed like heavier or something, then call us back and then you can go.
We're only an hour and 7 minutes in, and we're getting to the actual event.
Gee whiz. So I was like, okay, so this time it's probably, I think I called him like at 11:45, even later, maybe almost midnight. I don't know. And
I don't
then
either. I was asleep.
Joel was sound asleep. I kept talking to him, telling him, I was like, I'm still bleeding. He was like, oh, do you want to go? We could go.
See, good. See, I offered. I didn't even know.
But I was like, I hear the sound in your voice. You don't want to
Sleepy me gets it.
No. So, and I even took a picture of him that night. I was like, look at him sleeping. I don't want to disrupt his slumber. Just kidding. And then Sarah's like,
No,
are
not
you
just
going
kidding.
to?
She showed me the picture yesterday.
How is that no heavy bleeding?
How is
I
that
don't
not?
know.
Oh yeah, how is that not heavy?
The second time around when I pulled the little like clot thing out, I don't know. I think because they knew that I had my anatomy scan in the morning, I was going to the hospital. Maybe like just wait it
Yeah, it was
out.
like, how bad can this be?
Right.
We'll get there in the morning.
Right.
Like
I don't think it would have made a difference if I went in a few hours before.
I mean, I don't know that they could tell what was going to happen was going to happen.
Right. That's yeah.
How would they know to look for that? You know?
Right. I don't know.
Because you know that's the only thing you're saying. Basically,
If
maybe
they
they
would have
could.
an ultrasound, they would have seen my placenta.
Oh, so there was no fixing that, anyways.
No. So
it's
there's
not like they could have sealed you shut. And
right.
you know, whatever.
No.
Yeah.
Squeeze
anyway.
my legs. No. So what was it? And Sarah's like, "Did you call them?" I was like, "I'll call them after I eat my grapefruit and kiwi." So I have my little bowl of kiwi and grapefruit there. My mom had bought it for me. It was an organic one. I was like, "I'm gonna eat my grapefruit now," and then so that's when I called them afterwards, whatever. And then it's like 1:45 in the morning. 1:45 or 11:45. I think it was 1:45. And I was like, okay, I'm going to use the bathroom. At that point, I was getting nervous. And I was like, why is it getting more mucousy? I would touch it to see, and it was like slime. And I was like, something bad is going to happen. in my mind, I'm just like, okay, just wait. Joel's gonna get emotional. I don't. Betcha.
We'll see.
Bet money on it.
Can we do an over-under on whether or not I'm going to cry in this?
Please don't cry. Okay, so then.
I feel like I have enough beer in me that I'll be all right.
Wow. That's great. I got enough.
I'm coping in my own way, okay?
Where are we here? So it's 1:45 in the morning. I was like, I just want to go to sleep so we can wake up and go to the appointment to figure out. I was curious of what's happening, not knowing what the events are about to happen. So I used the bathroom, and as I'm going pee, I felt something like if something wanted to come out of me.
And this is before you woke me up, right?
Correct. Yes, this is
Okay.
still, it's about 1:42 maybe. And I stopped my flow of pee, and I was like, I don't have to finish using the bathroom that bad. $1.99.
I know. What is
Just wait. The more we get into this, it's gonna get harder for these viewers, and we're gonna start getting $2.99 and
Shut up. Nobody's
I'm
gonna-
joking. I am joking, you guys. Funny.
Yes, we're just telling a story. This is not money worthy, but
hilarious.
thank you so much. We genuinely appreciate it. But
good Lord.
this has never happened in my end. I've been on YouTube since 2004. No, what was it? 19 years this year. So 2006. Ridiculous. Nobody's ever been like, here's $1.99.
Wait, share
If
the
you like this, subscribe to the channel. There's a membership for
wait.
$4.99
Should we
a month.
share the GoFundMe link?
There
I'm
isn't
just
one.
kidding. There is none. Joking.
The GoFundMe link is subscribing to the membership on this channel. Sorry.
Do that. You don't want to watch his past videos. I'm just kidding. That was rude.
Oh, I started putting old years of the vlog back in there. Lena texted me the other day. She's like, why can't I watch a vlog from 2015 without a membership? I'm like,
Yeah, that's funny. That's great.
you got to pay if you want to see that
So
stuff.
anyways, it's 1:45 a.m. and I felt the sensation down yonder. And I was like, oh my gosh, I am going to stop peeing right now and go to bed.
Can't say down yonder like
did.
that. That was ridiculous.
And so I go lay down, and as I lay down, my stomach hurt, like painful, and I'm like, just common symptoms.
Jesse highly recommends the membership. Thank you, Jesse.
So then I go to sleep, and it was like 3:30ish. I wake up, so I had to pee. And so I go use the bathroom, and then of course I'm like constantly checking when I pee. I'm like, okay. And then I saw blood on the toilet, and I was like, okay.
And when is this?
3:30, 3:40ish in the morning. All my
Hey,
photos
God,
are
I'm almost
timestamped.
tagging in here, guys. I
Yeah.
promise.
And then so I was like, oh no. And at first I hadn't wiped it. I just seen like the drops in the toilet. And I guess I went, and I was still like dribbling pee from like whatever. And so I stood up, of course, to look in the toilet bowl, and so I got in the seat. And I was like, oh, I'm just peeing blood now. I was like, okay. And then, why are you closing your eyes? You praying?
I'm just getting through it visually. I'm trying to move
I'm
past the
sorry.
visuals you're presenting to
I'm
me.
sorry. It's not get very visual.
You're fine.
And then I really want to show that picture.
Show the picture then. I'll
know if I
cut to
can.
I'll cut to just you.
Okay. But will you get like flagged? Is that like
No.
gross content? Okay. And so,
Nobody's watching this. Well, 14
14
people.
people are.
Okay.
So
whatever.
then
12. Two of them are us.
dang it. Shoot. So then I go and I wipe, and then I notice like blood, and I was like, okay. And again, I don't think I processed it, but I knew in my head. I was like, all right, this is what's gonna
This is
happen.
happening?
Yeah. And then so I think I started shouting for Joel. Of course, he's in limbo, knocked out.
I was
then-
knocked out. I was out hard, and she came out like
I didn't get to that point yet.
Oh.
So I wipe again, and then I noticed like just clots on the toilet paper, and I was like, oh my gosh. And then I don't know if I started like getting emotional or I was getting like nervous, and then I started like crying or hyperventilating, and I coughed. And then next thing you know, I just felt this thing like plunge. Oh, Pilot's dreaming. His little squeaks. His little squeaks.
Hold on, let me see if I can turn the camera to him. Sorry, okay, we're back. Sorry.
Thank you, Pilot. Pilot, wake up, wake up.
Hopefully that wasn't annoying audio-wise.
That's funny. Okay, so I cough from crying or whatever, and then I just feel this. It didn't hurt, but I don't like. Blah, blah, blah. So rewind, even when like feeling stuff, like being pregnant in the beginning stages, I did not like those sensations. It made me want to gag.
What do you mean?
Just certain sensations you feel.
Like what?
Like growing pains inside. It wasn't painful, but I did not like the feeling where I'm just
Of
like,
something being inside you?
yes, it made me get the EBGBs. So, okay, fast forward here. This giant, what looks like a blood clot, comes out of me. Can I show them? Is it weird?
Yep, I'm switching to you.
Hold on.
I'm bowing out for a second.
Wait.
Hold it up to the camera and you'll see the camera focus on it. Oh, wait, no,
Yeah.
you won't. Here, I'll...
Viewer,
Son of a bitch.
and Joel just spilled his beer.
Don't worry about it. It'll be fine.
Viewer discretion advised. If you don't want to see it, I advise you not to look. Because it is very graphic.
Go ahead.
I'm pulling it up.
Oh, I'm cleaning my beer up. Don't worry about me. I'll be fine. Oh my god, it dripped into the drawer, really?
Oh my gosh. Okay, so this is at, again, if you don't like blood or gross stuff, don't look. This is at, come on, man.
Into the top drawer and into my mic cover.
Joel spilled his beer and it went into all of the drawers on his desk. Okay, I'm gonna show you grossness. This was at 3:43 a.m. How does it? Okay, so that, people are like, oh, that's your mucus plug or something. No, that was like a clot the size of my fist that came out. Which I did not know that was me hemorrhaging. Joel's leaving. He'll be right back. So yeah, sorry for the gross picture. I warned you guys, so now you had to see it. So at this point, that's when I go out there. Of course, I wipe, use the bathroom, whatever. I don't know if I flushed. I'm assuming I did. And I wake up Joel. You just missed your part when I woke you up.
Oh, no, you did.
You went to get a new beer?
Yeah.
You're drunk enough. That's why you spilled it. I'm just kidding. He's not.
Well, I spilled my beer, so I wasn't planning on that being the end of the beerage for the day.
That's funny.
So
It had just came out. I just showed him the picture.
okay, good. I didn't want to look at that.
I walk out and I was like, Joel, I think I was like crying. The kids were sleeping. They had school the next morning.
You came out and you said, Joel, I'm bleeding. And I woke up like I was literally laying down and I jumped up. I'm on my feet. I'm, what? And I'm like hugging her and stuff. I swear to God, I was terrified. My heart, I mean, 1,000,000 miles a second. I'm like, what? And I knew immediately. That's why I was so terrified. Like,
Really?
I knew immediately. As soon as you started saying that, I knew what was happening.
Why'd you tell me?
Because, oh yeah, let me just confirm your worst fear ever.
Oh, gosh.
Jesus Christ, it was the most terrifying wake up that I've ever had in my life. I've never woken up in a more terrifying way. Oh, no donation for that? I'm just kidding. For my most terrifying wake up ever?
Hey,
okay.
what happened to the...
There you go.
There we
There's
go.
Pilot.
There he is. So... What next? Yeah.
So then it's like,
That's what
okay, I'm
happened.
up. Now I'm up. Let's
He's
do
like,
it.
Thanks for waking me up.
Yeah, I was
No.
mad at her. For
So I was texting my mom, and my mom was like, put it back together. Sarah's like, you better be on the way to the ER. And I'm just like, dee. And so I'm trying to just like grab a few items to take with me. And
I'm usually pretty prepared for that kind of a situation where I'll just grab my camera bag. Like, all I need is that.
so then I'm walking, and then next thing you know, I just feel this hot liquid coming out of me. And I was like, welp, I think that's my water breaking.
You were over the toilet when that happened. You were there at the toilet because I came in, like, you came out, got me, then you went back into the toilet.
Right.
And you were sitting there and you were like, I'm going to change my pad or whatever. And then somebody donated. I was totally kidding.
That picture was worth at least $2. Come on. I'm just kidding.
But you, like, went to the bathroom or something happened and you took your pad off and it was dripping, like clear. Like, you were like, I think my water just broke. Like, I was in there when that happened.
Was it?
Yes. You, like, coughed or something happened and you're like, I think my water just broke. And you took your pad off and it was literally dripping clear. And I was like, oh,
I remember I put a pad on because the first one got filled
switched
up
it.
from
But then you switched it, and the second one got completely soaked clear.
See, now I must be telling the story wrong. I never.
No, I remember that for sure. Because I remember looking over and it was like clear. And I'm like, what? Oh.
So it didn't break yet?
It hadn't before you woke me up.
Right, I know that.
Yeah, but then you went to the toilet and you sat down or whatever, and you're like, I think my water just broke. And you.
Because I was standing up.
Oh, before you took your underwear off. Like, so it must have been when you were walking to the bathroom. Like to the toilet.
You got me all sidetracked now. Anyways, my water broke and we're on our way to the hospital.
Yes.
Continue.
Oh,
Go to you.
we go to the ER.
Show you.
Oh, just show me? Okay. It goes to the ER at Franciscan here in Crown Point, and it was one of the coldest days that has ever existed. It was ridiculously freezing when we got there and had to walk what felt like a mile through the parking lot. I'm pretty sure I was already crying walking in there. And we went in and checked her in. You'd be surprised how quickly they get somebody into a wheelchair and up to a room when you say, I'm 5 months pregnant and my water just broke. It happened quicker than I've ever been helped in an ER. There was no waiting in line. It was just go up to the counter, tell them what's going on, and you're in a room. So that was reassuring. You have any commentary about the...
I got pictures of the water on the floor.
What? Go on.
Wait, I gotta pull it up though. Hold on.
Okay.
Take it off of me.
Oh,
I'm not ready yet.
She's not ready
You
yet.
can leave it on both of us.
Okay. Well, there we go.
Wait, where is it? No, so when it broke, see, I had that backwards. I must be misspoken on myself, and I don't know what happened.
I could misremember it too, but I remember seeing
Thought
it
I would
happen.
remember, but let me see here.
I'll definitely defer to you. I just remember being there when it went down. I don't remember the order of events.
Oh, no, I'm not going to show that. It's got,
It's got bad stuff in it.
yeah, you don't want to see that again. So yeah, I remember it was at 4:07 we got there. Why'd you put the border up? You can't see the dog.
Oh, sorry.
No border.
No border.
There he is. Pilot's debut. I am just a big puppy dog. I'm just a big puppy dog. So it's 4:07. I was on Snapchat. Yeah. So 4:07 we got there, and then 4:13 I was already on our way to labor and delivery.
Okay.
And that's where I was just pretty much waiting at this point to see what happened.
Well, I remember going up to the room, and then who came in first? Was it a nurse?
Just the nurse and everything, getting basic blood work, all that kind of stuff. And then doctor came in. Are you trying to get down? Hold on, he's stuck on the couch.
When did we get to the point where somebody came in and gave us an update? Like told us what was happening?
Well, they came in and checked me out. They had a look inside. They did an ultrasound.
Okay.
They confirmed the water broke. There's no more amniotic fluid.
Okay. Is that when they told us the situation in there?
No.
Okay.
This is when the high risk doctor came in. This was later in the morning.
Okay.
So that first doctor came in. They didn't really know. They didn't want to do the probe ultrasound inside because with me bleeding. Oh,
Right.
they did the blood work and it came back. My white blood cells were through the roof. I had an infection somewhere. And so
Which, by the way, has never been confirmed what it was, which to me is super weird. I don't know anything about medicine.
they won't know.
But it's bizarre that it wasn't like, we need to figure out what this infection was. Go on.
Well, they can't figure that out. There's no way of knowing what caused it, they said. That's what they told us.
Okay.
And then, where else?
Was this when the high-risk doctor came in?
Nope.
Okay.
Oh, I remember hearing him say, like, when he was in there, the little probe inside of me, this little plastic thing, they crank you open. And he was like, I heard him, like, quietly, he's like, is that membrane? And I'm thinking, like, what'd you say? And then he's like, no, that's just a large blood clot. But what I think it was, after finding out later, that's what it was.
Right.
And then so after that, he's like, okay, the high-risk doctor will be in around 8 o'clock.
Right.
And then that was it. So we're just waiting. And then this pile of stuff that I have here.
Ridiculous.
I'm just peeling my cough drop wrapper. Sorry.
She has to fiddle.
So then come 8 a.m., the high risk doctor comes in, and I think they had done their ultrasound. Or no, he was just basing it off of the ultrasound that they had seen. Because
Okay.
later he's like, I'm going to send in my team's ultrasound technician to
Right.
get a more in-depth one. So he came in, he explained, I'll let you summarize or recap it, but he came in and basically said that the baby's all the amniotic fluid is gone.
Yes.
There's none in there. And he was like, not trying to sound morbid or you know what I mean? He's like, but baby's in a plastic bag at this point. And I was like, oh shit, okay. And I think my parents were in there, your mom was in there. So I'm just like, okay, I figured, yeah. I don't show emotion. Michelle, not gonna happen. Maybe.
We'll get there eventually.
No, one day he'll
One
crack
day.
me.
That's what I mean. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
She's already getting there slowly in real life, but not on camera yet.
Other things, my crazy stuff outside of whatever. So he tells us that, and then he kind of breaks down, and I think maybe I understood everything he said, but I think maybe I wasn't processing everything.
Well, that's when I jump in and I try to get a concise summary, and I'm like, are you saying there's no way forward for the baby?
Well, share all the details of what he said.
Well,
He said they wanted to do
Well, he said, basically, I remember having to go home at some point, and I left there after this part of the meeting, and he had told us basically if they could confirm via the amniotic fluid that there was an infection in the womb, they would deliver the baby, and we can then have the amazing choice of either watching or not watching as it dies because they can't do anything for it because it's not viable yet.
Right.
At 20 weeks.
So,
and like that was the most insane thing that had been said to me all day.
right, yeah. So I was, what? Can I finish telling it?
Oh yeah, you asked me to jump in.
I know, but it keeps me on track, I think.
Go ahead.
Sidetracked. I'm sorry.
By all means.
Hazard.
I just wanted to tell that little part of
So-
me having to go home, and I'm like, I don't understand how that's the
I
choice.
don't know when
had.
you. Oh, you did go home before to grab some stuff, and you
Mm-hmm.
came back. Because there was a point later on when he did come back saying there's no fluid. Blah blah blah. He said they wanted to do what is the word?
Amniocentesis.
Amniocentesis. So they stick the needle.
Yeah.
To see they get fluid because I had an infection.
And they wanted to
wanted to
confirm whether it
see-
was in the
Womb
The
or
womb,
whatever it
yeah.
was, and then so if it was in the womb, then during that time I didn't really process that. Oh, we deliver and then watch a baby die. I'm thinking like, oh sweet, baby.
No, I
baby
processed
died.
that immediately when they said it to me. I'm like, are you insane?
Right, yeah.
I wanted to scream.
And then so they told us that, and then the other option was, so they wanted to wait for the ultrasound tech to come do the little
Yeah.
testing stuff, and then she did all the tests, and then they came back and said there was no fluid. They said the baby has, and this time the baby had the heartbeat, I think like 154 the whole time.
When did they do the wave bullshit? When
That was later on. I'm not going
Okay.
to talk about that.
Okay. But they said that the bladder was full.
Yeah, so they said the kidneys were functioning.
Yeah.
The bladder was full. And they were like, if the baby, they said, let's wait 24 hours to see if the baby pees. Then in 24 hours, we can try to get a pocket of the fluid.
Because they also said the amniotic fluid comes from the baby's bladder. That is where, so that if it were going to refill, it would be from the baby peeing.
Right.
Which I didn't know. I just wanted to say that in case anybody else didn't know that.
Oh, right. Yeah. So then, now backtracking. So they said the options were if they can get a successful test in 24 hours, if the baby peed, if there was an infection, and then this is option one, get induced, go delivery, labor, all that
Full on deliver the baby.
And I'm thinking, I'm like, what? And then
either look or not look as it dies because we can't do anything to help the baby. We're only here to treat your wife, is what I'm hearing at this point.
well, because at 20 weeks they told you
It's not viable.
They can't do anything to save it.
Right.
They can't. There's nothing you can do.
But then option B makes no
And then
sense.
so option B was they said if I were to stop bleeding,
Right.
and he said, which at that point they didn't know why I was bleeding.
Mm-hmm.
He said it wasn't likely that I were to stop bleeding. So if what was it? No, or if it bleeding like slowed down or something.
If you stopped bleeding, they would want you to go home because here's the thing: 20
So
weeks.
what were they going to do then? Keep me in the hospital then because I was bleeding still?
No, well, yes, they would have kept you in the hospital if you were still bleeding. So 20 weeks, the baby's not viable. They're like at 24 weeks, the baby becomes viable outside of the womb. But there's no amniotic fluid, and he was also explaining that from 16 weeks beyond 24 weeks, the amniotic fluid helps develop the lungs.
Right.
So when they were saying send you home for 4 weeks, they were meaning...
I know what they were meaning.
No, I'm explaining it.
Oh, gotcha.
Yeah. No, I'm just going through what the option was. It was go home for 4 weeks. The baby's in a plastic bag in there. It's not going to grow, but then we can legally...
Not even that.
Well, go on. Explain. What do you mean?
I just wanted to share my side of it.
Go on. Tell me your side.
So yeah, that was pretty much what he said. No, actually, go ahead. You're good.
Well, that was the end of it. That was it. It was just what option B was. It was go home and then come back when we can
and
legally
deliver.
do it. Mm-hmm.
Well, they never said legally, so.
Well, no. But
They said
within
come back.
within their restrictions, they can't do anything until
We weren't to
24
that
weeks.
part yet.
I was giving option B.
Oh, okay. Go ahead.
That's all that they told us for option B was that go home. If we can get you to stop bleeding, go home for 3-4 weeks and then come back.
Right.
And then we'll deliver the baby.
Right.
That was it. That was all I was saying. Those
Okay.
option A and option B.
Right. Okay. Carry on.
That's it. That's all I know. I don't know what the next step is.
What is the next step?
I don't know.
Oh.
Look at your notes. I don't
I don't have notes on
Oh, I
this.
thought you had notes.
Why would I have notes?
I thought you were looking down at notes at
I
some
was not
point.
looking down at notes still.
No, that's all I got. So they told us what option A and option B were. That's it.
Right.
And at some point we got to see your actual doctor, the good doctor.
Well, he was there when the high-risk doctor was there.
Okay.
They were there together at the same time.
Right. So that was what we were left with there.
Right. And so the whole time, so then they're like, okay, we'll be back tomorrow. And it's only like 8 a.m. And so it's like, I just
So
sit here
early.
just peeing out blood clots. And was I in pain? There was discomfort.
I don't remember you being in pain, but
I felt they put me on an antibiotic, on an IV. And I started feeling sick. But I was so tired. And I just felt so sick. So they gave me some like anti-nausea and I felt better.
Okay.
So I didn't sleep until the next day.
Right.
So after hearing those other options, I was like, wait, we either stay here, deliver baby, then watch it die, or we go home. And at that point, they were worried about me wanting to septic shock
Right.
because they didn't know why I was bleeding. And so they're like, we want to make sure that I am safe.
You're the priority was what they said.
Right.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah. So later on, we were there, friends and family came to visit. It was Angela and Sarah that were with us.
Yep.
And we were just discussing options. I know people call me, they're like, you need to go to Chicago Hospital. You need to go to a Chicago hospital. At this whole time, I had no clue what the options were.
That they were being restricted, you mean?
Yeah, so now we'll get into the part where, and the doctors nonchalantly told us, these are your only two options
Here.
here. Other places have other options. And that was all they said. And I was like, huh, okay. But they're like, do you understand what we're saying? I was like, I get what you're saying.
Right. We
Legally,
can't.
they cannot say anything
Yeah.
because of the institution that they are in.
Yep.
And I was like, wait a minute.
It took a minute for us to like figure out what they were saying, which was like because again, I kept confirming with them, is there any scenario where all three of us leave here together happy and healthy? Is there any? Mm-mm. There wasn't. So,
was like,
so
"Oh,
what are
you
we
could-"
doing then? Like, what are we doing? We're just sitting here waiting to be released for 3-4 weeks?
Right. And at that point, because I was bleeding, now I'm at risk of, right? Like,
Yes, of course you are.
oh,
You're at risk of literally anything happening. Who knows what could happen at that point?
so I know he gave an example of, what was it? He's like, say you carry to 26 weeks or the 24 weeks. And then he said, but at that point, after 24 hours of there being no amniotic fluid, the lungs stop developing.
Right.
And the baby is not going to be viable.
Yeah.
It's good. 90% of it is not going to be functional.
And yeah, it was like, so what are we doing? Why are we sending her home with this potential hazard inside her and just hoping for the best? It doesn't make any sense.
Right.
Like, for the sake of Michelle and our future, this makes no sense. Mm-hmm. So at that point, we don't really have an option other than what are our options to leave here.
Right. And at that point, I wasn't thinking I had to leave anywhere else. I was like, no, I'm comfortable here. Doctors are great. I felt like I was in good hands. But really, I think I was in shock. I was just like, I'm chill.
Right.
And that was my friend. And then Angela were just all talking. And then we were like, no, you guys need to go to Chicago. You go to Chicago. So I looked into Rush, and it was like covered with insurance. I looked up insurance stuff because
that's the world we live in, that's important.
wait till I get to the insurance letter I got in the mail.
Don't even get me started.
I can't say what I was going to say because...
And they wonder why bad stuff
Stop.
happens.
Can't say that, Joel. Okay. I'm just prepping my little pile of confetti here. It's not funny.
The joke was...
Okay. Where were we at then? So then now it's probably like 6, no, maybe 5-ish.
Yeah.
We're just trying to figure out what our best options are.
Like, can we
could
transfer kind of thing?
Yeah. And then, so we're like, or we could just do an AMA because we had an experience a few months back with another situation for somebody else that requesting a transfer
Triggered the doctor.
became doctors saying, you don't trust us, blah, blah, blah.
It was the
It was that community.
weirdest, most insecure doctors I've ever heard of.
was
Where it's like, you don't trust us to do the surgery? He's going to die.
It was insane. So we're so hesitant.
AMA is against medical advice.
So we were so hesitant on requesting a transfer. I was like, oh my God, Joe's gonna lose his shit if they say no. Blah, blah, blah. We're like, okay, so worst case, we'll just say we're gonna sign an AMA. So I was like nervous. I was like, oh my gosh, I don't want them to think that I'm mad at them and don't trust them or whatever. So
You see Angel's comment?
same happened to Dad. No time to process. Yes. So we're talking about my dad.
We were trying not to say that.
Way to go. Sorry, Dad.
Thanks,
Angel
Angel.
just blabbed.
Just telling us that it's, yeah. We saw that happen, and it was like they wouldn't transfer him, so we had to check him out, and then they give you the speech of like, oh, you're going to die if you leave here. Otherwise, against, and it was terrifying, and then we drove him there, and it was fine.
Yeah, so me in that situation,
I was
like,
confident that we'll be fine driving my pregnant wife
we
there.
did an AMA.
Yeah.
They were like, it's fine. But also I was like, because Angela was like, well, a transfer situation is a lot easier through insurance and all these other,
But then I start hypothesizing, and as the doctor's standing there, Good Doctor, and I go, but the reality is that we're talking hours of potential red tape trying to find it, because we didn't know you have to find a doctor on the other end that's willing to take the transfer.
Before we get to that part, we had called the nurse in. And I was like, hi. I was like, let me do the talking, guys. And I was like, hi, just wanted to see if we can request a transfer.
Right.
And like Joel right away was just be like, no, tell him Joel's sitting in there with his hood on in the corner. And
I was not looking forward to the confrontation of the requesting an AMA because of what happened with her dad.
Before, yes.
It was ridiculous. And
So
I'm just
she was like, okay.
Oh my God, I don't want this drama. Let me I needed a second. I just put my hood up. I was sitting in the corner staring at my phone.
Wait.
And then they came in and they were so non-confrontational that it was
so
a
nice
joy.
about it. So
Yes.
she went and got Good Doctor. And
Dr. Good
he came
Doctor.
in and he was like, so what's going on? I was like, I was like, I know I'm in great hands here. I was like, but we just want to get a second opinion and see what other options there are. And of course we knew that it was probably gonna be the same options, but we had other options there.
Well, yeah, it wasn't like anybody was going to go, we're going to go to Chicago and they're going to be like, here's how we can make the baby survive.
We had to wait 24 hours. I was like, let's see what else. I was like, I know Rush was a level 4 NICU, we knew that at 20 weeks they can't do anything, but maybe they have more resources. I don't know. So
we just wanted to hear what our options were.
Talking to him, it was such a refreshing moment because he was so nice about it. He was like, whatever you want me to do, we'll do it.
Did not take it personally at all because we will see that doctor again, I promise.
Yes.
Just because he did that.
Yeah. And he was like, if you want to do a transfer, and Angela was like, a transfer is the better way to go. But he was like, he's like, they could not approve it.
When I gave my guesstimate of what would happen, he
was
nodding
like, you're better.
Yep.
Both doctors, can't say names, they both told us, do you understand what they're saying? Legally, we cannot advise you, but these are your options and what you should do. because of
We live in a messed up world.
Because of the institution we are in, we cannot help you.
We live in a world where people's religious views are somehow dictating how my
Yes,
wife can
and
get health care.
I was like,
it's insanity.
Wait a minute. Because of the Catholic, I was like, I'm a part of your club.
Yeah, no.
What do you
sorry,
mean?
You don't meet the criteria. You notice they gave you a couple outs if they were able to determine that there was an infection in the womb. Sure, then they can do it. Then it's fine. It's insane. It's medical treatment. This is not your religious club. It's not about that.
Yes.
This is about human care, and I don't understand.
And
that
so
we live
in
this
that moment,
world.
I didn't understand because
Why do we live in Indiana?
And the doctor was like, "Do you understand what I'm saying?" And me, I'm just like, "D, what?" It's going over my head. And then once he kind
Angel
of
said, "Get the fuck out of there." Simple.
right, and so me, and of course, again, I'm not saying that because a lot of my friends are like, "Oh, they should apologize to you and how they treat you." I never thought that I was in bad care.
They were doing what they were allowed to do.
Yes, and so after, it was kind of mind-blowing thinking, holy shit, you're in that, I was actually in that situation of, I mean, I could have stayed there, but then I guess I could have died too because I'm just hemorrhaging.
I didn't want to stay there. I promise you, I was not going to
such a
stay
nice
there.
room, too.
It was lovely, but
the gas station.
but they weren't doing anything for you. They were pretending that you were the important person, but they were not doing what was important for you to help you.
So I guess I didn't,
So
I missed all
took
of that.
I took that as bullshit when they're like, Michelle is our only patient here. We're not concerned with the baby. We can't do anything for the baby.
Right.
And yet they're advising you to go home for 3 to 4 weeks and wait it out.
Let it die.
Fuck that. They were not looking out for you as the patient. They were looking out for their beliefs. And
Right,
that's
yeah.
bullshit
Yep.
when it comes to my wife's medical care.
It's all a big cult.
Samantha said they won't let you get your tubes tied at St. Francis. At
Snip,
Franciscan.
snap. That's an Office reference. Michael Scott had to get his tubes tied.
And then untied. And then
Untied. And then tied again. And then untied. So he's like, snip, snap. It's like, do you know how to reverse?
What 3
That's to a
vasectomies
man.
has on a person?
That's funny. Anyways, so at this point, Dr.
Well, that's not where Dave went, Sam?
Joel has personal information.
It's Dave. Nobody knows who
is.
Dave is.
Dave's hot chicken. So we were talking with Dr. Good Doctor, and he was so understanding.
I love that we've adapted these
And
names as if they're real.
He was like, I'll do whatever you want. If you want to request a transfer, he's like, but the case manager, she's gone already, and it could
take hours.
as long as into tomorrow night.
Yeah.
And we're like, can we just sign an AMA? He was like, you can, but then we risk of, insurance. Or we're like, as long as you're okay with us doing that. And it was,
just gonna do that.
we were out of there within 5-10 minutes. She brought the paperwork. She didn't have to go and read, if you leave, you may die. If you do this, you
No,
may
she
die.
didn't read any of that
It
stuff.
was just sign here. I got a copy of it. And that was it. We stopped at the house.
That was the other doctor's insecurity. If you could leave, you could die. That was them.
Shocking.
That was their insecurity needing to be the ones who did that surgery. Samantha said, nope.
So next thing you know, we go to Rush. I looked up all the insurance stuff just to make sure. And so we got there on like 8:09, and we tell them everything. And of course, those are send you right up the line.
Yeah. What, you're saying we got to Rush at 8:09?
Maybe at like 8:30.
God, I felt like it was 11.
It wasn't.
I know, but it felt like it was that late in the day.
Oh,
it would have been a
was-
long day.
Yeah.
We woke up at 3:30, and now we're driving to
And
Chicago.
I had just laid down at 1:45, so I was so tired.
Yeah.
And
So we get to Rush immediately into a room, like I said. Was it that small room?
It was a small room. They sent me up for triage. They were just triaging you, and they were getting a main room ready for us.
But I feel like we weren't in there till 11:45 because we immediately went to sleep when we got in
You
that
went to
room.
go park the car. They didn't bring you back until I was done. So when I went upstairs, I was sitting at the desk. They had me
Oh, that's right. I had to wander around the hospital trying to find my way back to you.
Because you had to park the car. You just dropped me off at the ER.
But the ER let me through those doors again, and then I missed the first turn, and I went to the next one, and then I was all over the place. And then I ended up at the main entryway to go up the elevators, and then I found you that way. It was
Okay.
ridiculous. Yeah.
Finish my cough drop. Dang it. It's fine.
Do you need another one?
No, I'll be good.
Get you one. I just have to switch to full U for a
No, we're
second.
good. Me. No, we're good.
It's right there in the other room. It's quicker than my
I don't
beer.
want to have another cough drop. I've already got so much confetti.
I'm gonna have to clean that up.
It's a small pile, like I said again.
Go on.
Okay. Anyways, So they just got all my basic information. I took the information over this little phone I was sitting at, and then someone came and got me, did like basic labs, and that's when they put me in that room that we were in, which seemed till eternity. And so then they triaged me, they did all the basic stuff, whatever. And then finally, once I got dressed and prepped or whatever, they called you back in.
Yep.
And then that's when the doctor, I think she was a resident, she came in. We don't go through the whole rundown. They knew what was happening. They knew our options and why we signed ourselves out.
We also confirmed with them that there was no way forward for the baby.
Correct, yes.
In their estimation, because
Right.
it was a different hospital. And it's like, well, maybe you have different technology here or different procedures that maybe.
Right, but we were prepared and we were aware of that.
How have we not made a womb that works at this point? How have we not made an artificial womb that you can put a baby in at 20 weeks and then it survives? It feels like we're way beyond that in all other technology, but for some reason, not that. Uh-oh, she's dying again. Let me go back to me. This is just me now while Michelle's.
I'm back.
Oh, she's back. Okay.
So let me tell you. Oh, gosh. Coughing, that just makes you pee every time you cough like this, so. Don't worry, I'm not just sitting in my own pee. I've got a pad on. That's TMI. Okay.
Hashtag sitting in her own pee.
No, I am not, Joel. Okay. Gosh, those coughs like that just like knock the wind out of you, I feel like. Oh, God. Okay. So we talked to her and she's explaining the options. And of course, the first option was, do you want to see the baby or hold it?
Oh, when they were telling us like what the delivery options were, is that what you mean?
Yes.
Because we're at the point where they're like, we need to get this out of you.
Right. So I was like,
There was no question when we got there.
Okay. So they swabbed me. She checked. She said, did they do a vaginal ultrasound? I was like, no. She was like, okay. I was like, they want to do an amnio, whatever word. She was like,
Centesis.
She was like, we're not going to poke you with a needle. I was like, thank you. And she's like, we're going to do this ultrasound. And then so from that ultrasound, they confirmed, what did they confirm? Placenta abruption.
Sam said, make your woman some tea for her poor cough.
All I have is a sleepy time tea, so
Yeah,
I would
she'll be out
passed
before the end of the podcast.
I'll drink so many cups
As
of it.
soon as
and I
we're
was
done
like,
here, we'll put that on.
I'm fighting. I'm like, my eyes are so heavy.
Yeah, we'll get there, I promise. I do love her. It's not that I don't love her.
Oh my gosh, no. So, Violet. Distractions. Sorry. Where are we at?
Well, they tell you what the options are. What are the options?
Well, yeah, but no. Before that, they were doing like the ultrasound inside of me.
Okay.
To see what was happening.
Okay.
And she confirmed that all those blood clots, that was me hemorrhaging, and she said my placenta had ruptured.
Okay.
So the placenta at some point had detached.
I've learned a lot about all this. It's outside the womb. I didn't realize that.
I have no clue. It's inside of me though,
It's
somewhere.
outside the womb, though. The womb is the balloon with
Something.
the amniotic fluid. It's outside of that, and then feeding into it via the umbilical cord, I think.
I have to blow my nose, not because I'm crying, but just because I got a stuffy nose.
Okay. You want me to switch to me? Okay, here we are. Hold on, I'm going to mute you. You're muted for a second, so Michelle's blowing her nose, but we're not going to hear it. It's perfect.
My nose is sore.
Her nose is sore, she says. You won't hear that, but I said it. Yeah, we're nearly to the moment of what our options are here.
All right. Back. Oh,
Okay, you're back.
back.
Yeah, you're back. Don't tap the mic. That's
So-
not good.
And they confirmed that. They did, like, test. I remember she asked, she's like, do you want us to do a swab test to see what's causing the infection or something? She asked that.
Yeah.
But the test results that came back, they were testing for chlamydia, syphilis, and something else.
Which she passed with flying colors, by the way.
And I was like, wait, what tests are they doing? I guess different people go into Chicago hospitals to get stuff done. Maybe that's why. I don't know. But anyways, they also ended up testing the placenta for like genetic stuff to see, but that all came back negative, so that's good too, I guess. So then
Yeah, no, I think the worst part was that everything seemed to be going fine for the baby other than the water breaking.
Right. So,
That was the devastating part.
right. So I guess we talk about this now or after, like where we try to, I guess after is where we try to figure out what caused the infection.
Right.
What caused the placenta. We'll go afterwards.
Okay.
So we're in there. So they talk about the first option. And then I think the PA came in afterwards. And so then there were two ladies in there, or doctors in there. Mm-hmm. And because we talked about it, she was like, well, what do you want to know? And Joel was like, well, I wouldn't mind seeing her. And I was like, I can't. And then she was like, well, it's Michelle's choice. But I knew that, of course.
Oh, those options. Yeah.
But I was like, of course, I want to do what Joel wants to do too. I'm not bothered by that. But of course, I was like, I can't see. I'm not going to go and deliver a baby.
It was, do you want to straight up deliver the baby and then like you can hold it?
Yeah. And I'm
it's like, that
no.
sounds horrifying. I'm sorry.
And I get it. These are just what we chose to do.
These are
Other
personal
people-
choices.
Exactly.
Yes.
Yeah. Don't come after me, Trump.
For me, I knew that was not the right choice. I didn't want to. That would have been too much. It was hard enough the day after.
Right. So I thought of it like, I made me think of Echo when I was at work and I was like, oh, I came to the house to see her. But I was like, do I want to be there when she gets put down, like when she's actually dying? And I'm so glad I was. But I think that's a different.
With Echo, I was literally right there in front of her
Right, we were
face.
right
I
there, like,
heard
holding
her
her
last
paws.
breath and I was
Yeah.
telling her it's okay. And it was
So, but with
very
this,
emotional.
I was like, I don't want to have to go through
Well, they made it sound like it was two different procedures, too. You know, they made it sound like it was going to be a bigger deal if you had to do the actual delivery.
Right.
Didn't
yeah.
they?
I don't know.
Maybe not.
We asked what was easier on the body, and of course, not that one.
Right.
And then the PA came in. Excuse me. And they gave the option of, no, I heard them say, oh, because I kept asking, I was like, can you guys just like put me to sleep and cut me open and take it out that way?
Oh, like they were going to do a C-section kind of thing?
Right, because I was like, no, I don't want to deliver a baby. I don't want to see it or anything like that. I don't want to call it an it, but
It's too difficult of a concept to be like, I'm going to hold this thing that didn't make it all the way. No.
Right.
I knew that it would be too traumatic for you.
Or something. Not even that. I just had no interest.
Yeah.
Not trying to sound like morbid or anything.
No.
And so the other option when they're like, or, and I was like, wait, there's an or? It's like, wait.
She's like, oh my God, thank you. There's an or.
And then they were like, or we can do a D&E. And immediately I was like, thank you.
It almost sounds like DNC.
It sounds like a DNC, but this is dilation and evacuation because the
Okay.
baby is bigger.
What was the DNC? Do you remember the acronym?
Cartilage, what was it?
Do you know? Because I don't. I could Google
Yes.
it. I'm not
I just
sure.
forgot the word. Yeah, dilation and curettage. Curettage.
Okay. I've never heard of that. I didn't
They just
realize
call
that
it
was what it
DNC.
meant.
And then so the D&E, it's just because at 20 weeks, that's what they do
Right.
when the baby is bigger or whatever.
Yeah.
Feel free to look it up. It's
It was not-
it's gonna
it was-
say what it's gonna say.
It was not
There's
our
no other
first
terms
choice.
in what they call it.
It was not our first choice. It was the only choice we were given to not risk my wife.
But when they told us that, and just before this, she just did an ultrasound. I think Joel just went to the bathroom, and then
You typed it up, Jesse. That doesn't make it any easier to read. Cutilage?
cartilage. That's what they call it. It was like curettage or something. I don't know. So just
Oh,
before
because you
that,
said cure. Okay,
something.
fair enough.
Just before that, she showed me the ultrasound, and I think unintentionally she was like, "Oh, look, baby's waving at you," and I was like, "Jesus Christ!"
I know. That's so horrifying because, like, I'm not like an abortion person where it's like,
I'm not saying any of that word.
Of course not. That's what I mean. Like, so it's like, it's horrifying to be like, oh, the baby's waving at you. And it's like, oh, great. If it didn't break the amniotic fluid, the baby would be fine. How is that helping anybody?
Right. But the fact that my
Pilot,
placenta,
my God, dude, there's no way you did that. There's no way.
I don't smell it. He did have 6 carrots with his brother.
Come on, man.
Why am I trying to sniff the air?
It's so bad.
I don't smell it. Anyways.
It's just
So
all around me.
And after knowing that the placenta had ruptured, there was nothing they could do anyways.
Mm-hmm.
So at that point, you're saying, like, isn't like,
No, I'm with you. I
okay.
agree. Yeah. I didn't ask you to play anything.
Siri?
So don't worry about it. No, that was Alexa.
Oh. So then once they came in, they told us that other option. And it's like, I was like, a D&E? Absolutely. My first words were, Nicole, carrot fatty.
What, carrot fatty? Carrot gassy?
Carrot fatty. Carrot fart. Oh, that's funny, Nicole.
Yes, carrot farts. It's like when we were playing, what do you call it? The other one?
Monopoly. That one night. That was an intense game of Monopoly.
Dude, it's
Crazy that it stays on one side.
it's bad. I don't understand how it's just
anyways, they told me that I could have a D&E, and instantly it was like a weight lifted off my shoulders because I was like, out of sight, out of mind, put me to sleep, and then just do your thing, and that's it.
over here. Right.
And maybe that's cruel for other people, but I don't want to.
There was no way
my
forward.
body
Again, I don't know how
through
else
that.
to describe
No, I'm saying
that.
I don't want to go through the other procedure.
Yeah. Why would you go through a full birth when it's not a full birth?
Right. I'm like, I don't want to experience that. And then experience like cramping and all that other stuff. So cut to the next day. They're like, okay, we're going to get you in a room soon. They're like, you need a.
So now we're at a month
it's
ago.
Like,
Now we're at 1 month ago, right?
no, we're still the night
22nd?
before.
You said cut to the next day.
But I said before that.
Oh, I'm sorry. Go on.
So we hadn't eaten yet. They're like, okay, you have to eat by midnight. And it's like 11:40 p.m. I'm like, Joe, go down to Panera Bread.
Yep.
So we get Panera. So while he's down,
I was so mad because I ordered mine and I asked them to toast the bread and they toasted the sandwich. And it was so gross. And they did ham instead of turkey. Anyways, go on.
are you okay?
I don't know. I might get through it. We'll see.
Right? Yeah. I think I had to text a few people because that was the hardest thing to process. I was like, oh shit. Because when I looked it up, and of course I looked up videos because I have to know all these things. And then when I realized like what it was actually being done, I was like, oof, okay. But also I had to understand the medical side of it where, yeah, no.
What
I'm
else
not going to
is the
sit
option?
here. The baby's going to suffocate in a bag inside of me, like what they said. So, no.
I couldn't live with that for a day.
Right.
Sorry. Like, look at it however you want. I could not live with that cruelty for one more second. It was just like, get this out of her.
Right. And so then she explained, so we eat and everything. At that point, they put the IV in me. Mm-hmm. And they put the IV in my hand because at the other hospital, they had it in my arm. They had it like up here. And that was great. I don't care for IVs. They usually
Not
put
a
it in my
fan,
hand.
no.
And it just feels painful. I feel like I can't do anything. I know you can, but I'm always so hesitant to move. But when it was in my arm, I didn't even know it was there. And so they ended up putting this one in my hand.
Like in your wrist area?
Yes. And
What, do you have a picture?
it was the most painful IV. And I was like, something is not right. And Joel it was like 3 hours went by and we couldn't find anyone on the floor. Joel went out at least 2 or 3 times to look for somebody.
Yep.
And it was like a ghost town. And I was like, did you find him? He was like, nope. So we're both dozing off. And meanwhile, I literally was holding my hand because it was so painful. I did not want to put it down. I couldn't even bend my wrist. So I think it was not all the way. I took a picture of it because my hand was very bloody.
Do you have it?
Yeah.
Let me know when you get it. I'll switch to just you.
Okay. Oh, it's on my Snapchat. So this was January 21st. This was at 9:16 p.m. This is the room that I was in. Can you see it?
Hold it in the middle, the dead center, over your face, because then it will focus on the camera. Back up a little bit. You're too close. There you go.
Here's the room we were in.
Huh? That's cool that it shows us on the bottom there.
And then this was the...
Just cover your face. Yep. Oof.
But it
my
had
God,
blood.
why is there so much blood?
It was all in my ring, and it just sat there. And
horrifying.
It hurt so bad. And I was like, is it too tight? I tried loosening the little tape on there.
It's a pretty ring.
Thank you. And then, so finally someone came. I was like, can you please fix the IV? She's like, okay, yeah. And I was like, even better, can you move it into my arm? So she found a big juicy vein up here and ended up putting it there.
Okay.
100%. Didn't even feel it go in. I was like, I just think it was I don't know. It felt like, I don't know. But my wrist.
Again, this part is the most sensitive part of the body, most vulnerable part of the body. No, thank you. Do not put stuff in there, please. Ugh. Jesse said that looks so painful.
It hurt so bad. And I was like, usually I know IVs aren't comfortable.
Right.
But it hurt. I knew.
You knew.
That was our food. That was my
Oh, nice.
stuff.
Okay.
So then, yeah, they took the Band-Aid off. Oh, it's a little Snapchat reel. They moved it into my arm. And I was like, this is so much better. I can
Okay.
move and everything. So next, they come in, they explain we're going to get moved to a room whenever it's ready. I think we ended up going there around 2 a.m. finally.
Yeah.
But the doctor...
What, to the new room? That was like 6 a.m. They took us there in the morning.
Right, but before that, I get 2-something a.m. We ended up in 2 rooms. We were in the triage room where we ate, and then
Right.
they finally got us a room at
To
2-something.
that tiny room.
A
That-
smaller
yeah.
room. And then they moved us at 6 a.m.
Yes.
to a different
Okay,
room.
I'm with you there. Yeah.
So just, I don't know, just random video clips.
Back up just a hair and put it in front of your face.
Oh, this is mirroring objects.
Put it in front of your face.
What do you mean?
It's trying to grab your face. There you go. Now it's focusing on the room.
Oh.
So that's the room we ended up in at 6 a.m.
Yeah.
Much more comfortable. Yes.
But before that, she had told us what was going to happen. You know, the procedure will take place, like at 3 or 4 p.m. tomorrow.
Yeah.
As long as they could get me on the books or whatever. So,
They had to squeeze her in the schedule, so to speak.
yeah. Hold on, let me pull this back up, just in case. Where is it? You can go to here. They look so painful. It was very painful. So they were explaining to me that because with the procedure, they have to dilate you because
Right.
baby is bigger, obviously.
Well,
than-
yeah, from 7 weeks to 20
yeah,
weeks.
whereas a D&C is just for small little tools. D&E, bigger things, so you gotta be open a little more.
Yep.
I had no clue how this canal works down there, okay? So she was like, we're gonna use these seaweed wraps. Mm-hmm. I did not hear her say seaweed wrapped sticks.
I thought it was going to be a seaweed wrap. that
I thought
just
it was like
expanded
a piece
or
of
something.
seaweed, like a green piece of seaweed. And she was like, so we just line your uterus with these seaweed wraps and it's gonna help
Expand.
dilate you or whatever. And I'm like, okay. And so come around 6 a.m. the next morning, they wake me up. They're like, okay, we're gonna move into the room. We're gonna get you ready for this. I'm like, okay. Both doctors come in that we had seen the night before. And they're like, okay, they put you in those little stirrups. And you're like,
in a
that was
position
so
that you could never
painful.
be in before.
Yes. How do you get your legs like that? And they're like, okay, now go for it. No, my body doesn't stretch that way. So she's like, okay, you're gonna feel. No, they had this like it looked like they were delivering like some secret serum like you see in like Mission Impossible, and they're trying to save the Eiffel Tower. It was like in this metal casing, and I hear like all this clinking around. I'm like, what is that? You're distracted.
I'm listening. You heard the metal clinking, and you're like, what is that?
So they pull out these little sticks. No, before that, she's like, okay, you're going to get a shot of lidocaine. You're going
Right.
to get 4 shots.
like
And
the numbing
I'm
thing.
like,
yeah.
4 shots in where? Me thinking they're just going to put these little seaweed wraps, seaweed, floppy seaweed in my thing too.
Hoo-ha, yeah.
Yeah. So then, next thing you know, they got me cranked open, and then they're through the first chamber, enter second chamber,
There's
and then
2
just
chambers?
I don't know.
How many chambers are there?
I haven't said the Chamber of Secrets. And so
Jesus
they
Christ.
put the needle in, and I thought it was gonna break Joel's hand. It hurt so bad getting a shot in your cervix.
Luckily, this was before my carpal tunnel, so I didn't feel it.
Yes. And so they gave me 4 shots of that, and I was like, what are they doing to me?
Mm-hmm.
And then you hear all this little like clink, 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 clink. And they took these little sticks the size of probably like maybe a highlighter. And not that I
Were
could,
that big?
maybe like half of that. I don't know. But they're like these little stick. I don't have a thing for reference.
Okay.
I have a lighter.
Chamber of Secrets in the comments.
Thank you, thank you. We should do a comedy show.
This is a comedy
Let's do
show.
an improv show. This is improv.
It is improv. Yeah.
Okay. So I am getting these sticks inside my cervix. And she's like, okay, we could put an eighth one. An eighth one? How many you have in there?
7.
Yeah. And they're probably the size of my finger, I guess you could say. So,
Okay. She had 8 fingers.
anyways, they get that done. And then it's like, whoop. And I'm just sitting there. And I felt like I was going to get a hemorrhoid on my butt or something. The sensation was awful. I'm like, can I use the bathroom? Are these things gonna come out of me or what? So I waited like an hour before I even got up to try to use the bathroom. Because I asked them, I was like, am I okay to use the bathroom? They're like, yeah. But it was so much relief, like sitting on the toilet bowl.
Yeah.
Because you're on the toilet.
The position, you mean?
Yes, whereas sitting on the bed, not that the bed was hard, but there wasn't any like
Yeah.
restriction on my bottom. And so I just felt so, and I peed like normal, and I was like, oh, okay, I can't use the bathroom. And I was like, oh yeah, the pee hole is different from cervix. I don't know how any of that stuff works.
Nor do I.
Yeah. So that's that. They gave me some Tylenol, and then fast forward to 12 p.m., they are going to dilate me. And I'm like, wait, aren't these little sticks dilating
Wait,
me?
12 p.m.? Oh, 12
Yes.
p.m. like noon. Yeah. Gotcha.
So 6 a.m. they put those little sticks inside of
Yeah,
me.
yeah.
And then 12 p.m. they gave me these little like tablets to suck on in my mouth. I'm like, this is gonna go into your bloodstream and start the dilation process. It's
Okay.
like, you might feel light cramping, so let us know if you need something for it. And then so I'm like, okay. Light cramping? No. I'm gonna find a way to get a C-section when I have to give a baby next time, because this light cramping, it was terrible. It was terrible. So I was like, I'm in pain, and I'm there like, ugh, like moving, and I'm like trying to hold myself down. It hurt. Light cramping, And so they're like, okay, we're ready to give you Tylenol. And then she's like, have you ever had fentanyl? It's like, have you ever
I
had
was
fentanyl?
like, well, yeah, when we're hanging out partying under bridges, obviously.
I was like, I think this one time I was like, no, I never had fentanyl.
I think this one time at a party.
I was like, is it any good? Let me try it, I guess. So I don't know what they ended up giving me, but at this point I was on my way to pre-op or whatever, because they're like, oh, we got done early or something.
Right.
Hello, Ruth.
Michelle's currently coughing herself. Yeah, she'll be all right.
Okay. Oh my gosh. I tell ya. So we're on our way there, and I'm just cramping. First of all, the guy, who's probably just like a CNA, takes us to the wrong operating section. We're like going through all these halls, and
Yep.
we get there, and they're like, you're in the wrong place.
Yep.
And he's like, oh. And I'm just there like, I felt so embarrassed for that guy.
I was
And
just
me-
wheeling. I was just walking behind the cart.
and I'm just like, oh my gosh. Then he passed up the hallway and went to the wrong. He's like, oh, sorry about that. And so we finally get to our destination, and they just go through like basic info, talk about anesthesia. And then they gave me something. It all happened so fast. We were back there for like 10, 15 minutes.
Yeah.
My parents had just gotten there. I saw you guys, whatever. And then I think they had just given me something on my IV. Like, this is gonna make you very relaxed. Whatever they gave me, I
you
wanted
were
again.
done?
Huh?
You were out?
No.
Oh, you were
Just
awake.
very relaxed.
Okay.
And I figured that was a drug that got you high or something. Is that what it feels like? Why are you like
It could be. Yeah.
that with your eyes?
Yeah.
Are you tired?
No, I'm good.
He's buzzed.
Yes.
Kidding.
I'm great.
joking. So no, I was like, whatever stuff this was that they sell it on the street, I'm just kidding.
Sam said, as someone who has had 3 C-sections, it's no joke, girl.
Yeah, you're right.
But yet she put LOL at the end, so is it a joke?
It was no joke when that giant blood clot plunged out of me, and I was like, "Floop."
Jesus.
The sensation, man. But I guess if they got a stretch.
So you're going into the surgery at this point.
I wasn't in there yet. So what they had me on some loopy stuff, and
Yeah.
I felt great. I had never felt better. I get why people do drugs now. So, but I will not go down that path. So I'm being wheeled to this place. I feel like there were 10 people in that room or more.
Okay.
There was just so much commotion. And they had me breathing. It looked like a pee-pee cup guys wear. But it was like that mask they put on.
Okay.
And then I feel like they have like a radio attached to it because they can hear it like in the room if I'm breathing or not, which is smart, I guess. They need to know.
Yeah.
And they're like, take deep breaths. And I feel like she was smashing my face with it.
Okay.
And so I'm breathing in, breathing in. I'm guessing, I don't know what that one did, sleepiness, whatever.
It probably put you out.
And
yeah.
then, but I was just like, I always try to fight it to see how much I can remember.
Yeah.
And they were talking to me, and the next thing you know,
Done.
I was out. Then I wake up. And so I told him that so when I get put under for anesthesia, I usually get very sick. I'll start vomiting. I'm just very dizzy. I remember when I woke up from my gallbladder, I was so angry at the nurses just being in there and talking. I remember laying there and I was just like, I couldn't even look around with my eyes because I would get so dizzy. But I just heard voices. It felt like an insane migraine where everything was... I was so sensitive to everything. Mm-hmm. But their voices, I was just like, oh my God, shut up.
Oh, I remember you being really mad at them.
And so I
being
started
loud.
humming. And then next thing you know, I was humming and then singing La Vie en Rose by Edith Piaf, this French song, because it calmed me down. And then they walk over and I was like, then I like kind of like
realized you were doing it out loud.
And I was like,
out
oh
loud.
my God, what am I doing? But it helped me. So,
Well, while you were in there, I was struggling with how am I supposed to vlog any of this?
my gallbladder?
I thought you were talking about your surgery.
No, pay attention. I was talking about how I wake up from anesthesia. So I was talking about my experience, and I don't know what Michelle they were going to get. So I told them, I said, okay, we'll make sure we give you this before we wake you up. And they also gave me that little pimple-looking patch thing behind my ear. And so I woke up just fine. I remember, I think I was still annoyed because there was this little kid next to me who just got out of surgery, and he would not stop screaming and crying.
Right.
And I'm just like, take me back to my room. What are we waiting for? Take me back to my room. The whole time they were waiting to see, they thought I didn't, they're like, you don't have a room. I don't know, were you in there? No, you
I
can't
remember them saying you don't have a room.
They were like, oh, do you have a room? They're like, I was like, yeah, I'm in room B, whatever. And they're like, no, it shows they're waiting for a room. They gave your room to somebody. And then I was like, what? And they're like, she says she has a room. And I was like, oh my gosh. And then when they figured out I had a room, they were waiting on the pharmacy. They were like, she needs to get this. They're supposed to give her this. And they're like, someone else, like after 20 minutes was like, they never give these down here. They're going to get it. The nurse requests it when they go back up. They're like, well, it says to do this. And the whole time I'm like, just, golly, get me back to my room because I want to go home. Because they said as soon as you feel better, you can go.
Right.
And so I had no headache. I was not dizzy. I was so hesitant because I knew I was waking up. And like, I just kept my eyes closed for a bit. I remember like, I looked around and I was like, oh, okay. And then like very cautiously I did movements, but I felt fine. And then, so we get back to the room and within 5 minutes, or I was like, wait, y'all don't even have underwear on me? I'm just there laying in a puddle of blood. Is that band? That's Puddle of Mud. Never mind. So.
Yeah, we don't want to get sued by Puddle of Mud. But again, during all this, I was struggling with, and I know this isn't important at all in the big scheme of things, but I was struggling with how am I supposed to vlog any of this?
You're not supposed to vlog any of that.
But I do a daily vlog, so it's like, how do I not step over any lines while still covering my day? It was tricky. That's all. I just wanted to mention that it was something that was in my mind, like, what am I even supposed to do? I don't know.
Right. So anyways, we get up to the room. I was like, can I have a pad? And these pads they give you are like
Massive.
so long, goes up to your neck and to your forehead, it feels like. But it's great because you're like, I'm safe. It's not going to whatever. And then and the little underwear they give you is these little like nettings. And I loved it. They're just...
Oh, the fishnet?
Yes.
You like that?
It's not like real underwear, but you can't even feel it. It's like, I don't know what it was. So we get to the room, and then I think I was hesitant to stand. I was like, can I move? But I felt great.
Yeah.
And I was able to walk. They wheeled me out, of course, but I was able to move. I was able to bend down, put my stuff on, use the bathroom. Whereas the first DNC, I was in pain afterwards. I was just so dizzy and groggy. I got home. I was hunched over.
Right.
And so there's a difference,
Yeah.
I guess. So
Yeah.
that's interesting. Unless it just depends how much drugs I was on.
Could have been.
But so then, yeah, that's that in a nutshell. But now going forward, so that day when it was going to happen, both my high risk doctor, good doctor, called me and asked how I was doing, and he's like, you made the right decision.
You're right.
And so it's like, thank you.
That was reinforcement.
So they knew what my options were. They
Again,
knew
they
their
know, but
situation.
they're in a position where they can't say anything, so they have to go with what is acceptable by their, building.
Right. And so in my mind, it's like, wait, you can't get that. It's still mind blowing. Or it's like,
It's not mind blowing even so much as it's maddening that your medical care is reliant on somebody's beliefs as opposed to medical science, and that's it.
right.
Yeah.
Yes.
I don't understand.
So after finding out that the placenta ruptured, the doctor, he called me, asked how I was. He asked what they were going to do, if they're going to do this thing beforehand or certain things that he was asking.
Right.
He's like, I want to see you after this. I was like, okay. And then same thing with my other doctor, my primary OB, Dr. Good Doctor. When we were still at Franciscan, he said, if you get the procedure, he's like, see me in a week.
You've been so good at keeping the names right. I love it. Dr. Good Doctor is great, and Dr. So-and-so.
Thank you. So that was very reassuring that like, oh, no, they knew what was up, but they knew that,
Yeah.
which is fucked.
Yes. Yeah, no.
Where it's like, what?
Yeah. It's
So-
beyond fucked that we're in that situation. Where you could end up on a list or something for going to another state. Like, what are we talking about?
That's insane. So then, so we made that 1 week follow-up. We went to go see him. And then he asked us, he's like, so what's the plan? I was like, to have a baby? And we asked, how soon can we try? He was like, give it 3 to 6 months. I was like, I'll give you 3 months maybe.
Right.
So, and I was like,
As I told Michelle, we'll try 100 times. We're
that's
gonna
a
make
lot
it
of
work.
times. So 1-800-DOC.
We'll make it-
Jackie said she'll be a surrogate. Just kidding.
Surrogate?
Oh, surrogate?
No, surrogate, that's Michelle. Or that's Sarah when she gets stuff. That's a surrogate.
Surrogates.
That's when Nick's like, can you grab milk at the grocery store? That's a surrogate. A surrogate could be Jackie, but no. Never in my life would Jackie be the surrogate for a baby.
Oh my gosh. I think we made a funny joke as I was like getting like a container down. And Joe was like, it's just a container.
Wait, what? You lost me there.
At the Super Bowl, we were like cracking jokes about Jackie's gonna be the surrogate and you're grabbing
Oh,
a
I was like,
Tupperware.
it's just a container, yeah. It's like, she's just,
it's just a stained spaghetti container.
yeah, she's a stained spaghetti container.
And you literally had grabbed a stained spaghetti container. So that's why I thought you made that reference.
That is why I made that reference, yes.
Anyways, we're not doing that. We're just joking.
But it was very tough to leave there knowing that it wasn't continuing forward because we had been in that mindset for 5 months
Right.
that we're going to end up with a baby in June.
Right. And those first 12 weeks, because I was like, oh, we can't post anything. I was like, okay, we hit 7 weeks. Okay, 8 weeks.
And you'd
9
be
weeks.
surprised. I could actually restrain myself. I did not post anything.
Right. And then I was like, okay, when we hit the 12th week and we confirmed like the DNA and
Right.
everything with the local ultrasound place, the Love at First Scan.
Yep.
There's a few names. There's one in Envelope that's similar to the name. So then we like posted it. We found out it was a girl, blah, blah, blah. And then, but like those first few weeks were so stressful. It's like, man, imagine the next time around having to wait to get to the 20th week.
Oh, God, that's 5 months.
So it's like, there's going to be no confetti.
No, we'll confetti at 12 weeks again because we're not going to let this thing stop us.
Obviously not.
Well, so go on.
Oh. But yeah, so Dr. Wee said,
Dr. Good Doctor said.
Dr. Good Doctor said,
At least you didn't say the bad one.
we should
Yeah, we
be
should.
the high risk doctor. And I was like, well, what does the high risk doctor do? And he made it seem so vague. He was like, they're going to consult with you, consultation, like a counselor or whatever. And then they'll do a test to see if the uterus is shaped abnormally or whatever.
Right.
So I'm just thinking, like, is that it? Like, then would we just go back to you? So we had that appointment on March 6th.
Right.
And then I was like, we should have a second opinion, or let's get affiliated with Rush too. So I finally got that referral paperwork sent over a few days ago, and now we're scheduled for an appointment with them in April.
Okay.
So just to see what
So in theory, we don't start trying till May, at the very earliest.
March 6th. We'll see what he says.
March 6th? I think you said 3 months.
March 22nd.
March 22nd, the day after Lena's birthday. Fine.
Okay. But yeah. But so now it's like, he said, I know Joel went into that appointment after that 1 week for the follow-up, like thinking he was going to get answers, but I was told, I was like, they're not going to know.
I genuinely thought we're going to go, well, here's what the infection was, and here's the influence that it had on the baby, and here's how we can prevent it in the future. I thought that it was we're going to investigate this and know for the future so it doesn't happen again. Like,
right.
That's silly, ignorant of me to think that, but that's what I thought.
I guess the only thing going forward is me able to recognize, I guess, signs of what...
But again, I say, how are you supposed to know what's a negative and what's a positive sign? It doesn't make any sense to think that a first-time mother would know the difference between those
you don't,
things.
but at least with this experience now, whatever I was feeling around that
It's not normal.
18, 19, 20th, with me thinking, something doesn't feel right.
So go with that
Assuming
instinct.
with the high-risk doctor now, I'm going to be watched more closely or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Anything, I'll probably, okay, come in, let's check this. Me just thinking maybe. I don't know what they do. But at least I'll know this time. I'll know what this mucus stuff looked like. Hey, this happened last time. I'll know that this pain that I got was something that was probably...
worth looking at further, yeah.
I'll know that when I feel like a plastic tampon applicator is stuck inside of me for some reason, I'll be
That's
like,
not good.
That's weird.
Right, what we should have
That
realized
was, like,
originally. That's
so I
no good.
And I think I had a leak. So I'm curious to see, because they said my placenta was sitting low.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what was attached still, how much was attached, or how much was
Right.
off. But I'm curious to look at my last ultrasound from, I think, like December 28th to see, because they showed us, there's a placenta right here, to see, was it intact still?
Right.
Because now I question myself, was it from the chiropractor? From them, because they say...
I don't think so, but...
Because when I look up
possible,
placenta
I guess.
abruption, they say, when I ask the doctor, what can cause that? They say an accident or a hard fall.
And you did not have any of those.
The only
right?
thing 2 weeks before when I noticed it was getting painful to lay on my stomach in bed.
But that helped you, right, after the
My
chiropractor?
back-wise, yes.
Okay.
But I started getting other things.
Okay.
At least what I recall during those timings, those weeks. So now it's thinking, well, I'll never go to a chiropractor again while pregnant, because it's just even though it helped me, because I got insane back pain, but was it that? Was it from them being on top and they slam into you? But it's safe, they say. And I'm not saying it's that. I just think of all these things. Maybe
of course the impulse is to go, what did we do wrong?
Right. But then it's thinking, I think Lori had said, my placenta must have ruptured, and then by it rupturing, that's what caused my body to get that infection.
Okay.
Because how else would I get...
It doesn't seem likely that you would just have a random infection in the womb.
Right, because they had asked me when we were at Franciscan, when we had first got there, they're like, were you sick? Were you a bio? And I was like, no. I was like, I had the sniffles.
Ruth said that. Ruth said that didn't do this. I don't know what that means exactly, but...
The chiropractor.
Oh, yeah.
Well, yeah, I mean, but I don't know, because I think of when they're like, did you fall? Or
No, I get the impulse to feel that.
That's the only thing I can think of.
Yeah, that's all. That's the only thing. Other than that, she was chilling. Like,
Literally chilling.
yeah. So I promise you will be on bed rest next time. Like, you're not doing shit.
I don't have to work. Yes.
No, you still have to work, but you don't have to do shit at home. I'll just continue doing all the laundry and
You're the
stuff.
man of the house.
And you're supposed to be the woman of the house, right? But I'm going to do all the woman stuff.
And clean it. That is very true.
You don't clean shit.
That's why I said that is very true. I don't clean shit. I cleaned the kitchen for like 4 hours yesterday, I feel. It's in pretty good shape.
You also make a huge mess in there, so that's all right. I don't mind that.
True.
I'm good with that. If you were cleaning my office, that would be weird.
Anyways, is there anything else? I mean, they did a very detailed report.
Well, why don't you go through the insurance claim?
Oh my gosh.
Because I don't think we're going to discuss the name.
Thank you. What?
I don't think we're going to discuss the name aspect of it. What do we do with the name going forward?
Oh, no.
Right. So then just go into the thing about
You meant United Healthcare.
No. Well, United Healthcare, you can say.
Let's see here.
Ruth said everything happens for a reason. I feel twins will be coming.
Where is it? I sent it to my mom. So we get a letter in the mail from the insurance company. And
Yep.
what does it say? It says, they're giving me the rundown of why my hospital stay is not being covered by the insurance. And I was like, hold up. I specifically had my laptop. I was in the room with Sarah and Angela, and I was looking up places
That are covered by our
hospitals that are
insurance.
covered. Mm-hmm. Rush had OB and, return all this stuff.
Yep.
Like Northwestern had certain things, but then they didn't have OB. So I was like, nope, can't do them. Same with University of Chicago. They had stuff, but they didn't go into OB, so we had to go with Rush. So I'm like, okay, we're good here. And it says, you're admitted to the hospital on 121. The reason is preterm premature rupture of membranes. We read the medical records given to us. We read the guidelines for a hospital stay. This stay does not meet the guidelines. You do not have to be admitted as an inpatient in the hospital. The reason is you were watched closely in the hospital. You were stable. You had tests that did not show any problems. The records showed your doctor admitted you to the hospital, right? You had a problem with your pregnancy at 20 weeks. We looked at the medical records sent to us. We reviewed the guideline for an inpatient. Did they never write like a professional paper in school?
Clearly not.
You do not have to be in the hospital for this care. The reason
No,
is...
they send you home when you're bleeding from your vagina when you're
Don't
5
say
months
that
pregnant.
word. I don't like that word. The reason is you did not have a fever, so if I'm hemorrhaging, it's okay. We did
Placenta
not...
coming out of you is fine, but if you don't have a fever, you're not covered.
We did not see you needed a blood transfusion.
No shit.
Your vital signs were stable.
Yeah.
We did not get a procedure note.
Well, that's not our fault.
Right. Your inpatient hospital stay is not covered.
Get out of here
You
with
did
that
not need to be admitted as inpatient to the hospital for this care. You could have gotten the care you needed without being admitted.
Right. We should have gone home
The
at 9
hospital
p.m. at night.
inpatient admission is not covered. We let the hospital know this is not covered.
Yeah, right. I bet you it'll be covered.
Right. But I was just like, what?
So that's fun to get after you've just dealt with one of the biggest losses of your life, dealing with the insurance company going, yeah, you didn't need to be in there. You know what? Go fuck yourself. How about that?
Shh. I don't like that word.
You've said it many times.
Okay. I gotta read some stuff. You take me off.
You gotta read some stuff?
That's what I said.
Oh, I don't know. I'm not sure where we're at here. I think we're pretty much at the end. We've been talking for 2.5 hours, 2 hours and 40 minutes about this. We're basically at the point where all we have to do is try again. There's not really much else to do in relation to what happened.
Okay, I got my thing back up.
She back.
Okay. Danielle said that sounds right. Like the abruption placenta caused an infection.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Yeah, because I kept thinking, so my wrists are so bad. I made a post, I think 2 days before. No, the day before I made my wrist post on Sunday night. Started making my baby shower post on Monday night. But for my wrists, a lot of people say they would experience the de Quervain's tenos and vititis, whatever it's called, throughout their pregnancy. Some people said they got it after they delivered, and that is referred to as mommy wrist. So I was thinking, oh, I started babysitting my niece Josephine from lifting her. But I'm like, why would my wrist get so aggravated? I play guitar, so they're active in that regard. People were commenting saying that, oh, my sister experienced that as soon as she delivered, it went away, like the next day. So I didn't know, is this going to go away? Is it going to come back? So I had my first steroid shot on that Monday, and it lasted about 4 weeks. And that same day, my right wrist began getting the same feeling. And I had that shot going on 3 weeks ago now. So I went back last Monday, got a second one in here. He said typically it doesn't come back. Usually the steroid injection helps. If the pain comes back in 4 weeks, then he said they will do a surgery to release it. So I asked, but what if we're going to get pregnant again? Are those symptoms going to come back again? Because I don't know if it's from watching Josephine or just being pregnant because the hormones changing and stuff, everything. But he said it shouldn't. In the years that he's been practicing, he said maybe in 20 years down the road, you might start to get some pain. But so what they would do is they release that tendon and they create a bigger opening around it, so there's more room for when they do get inflamed. Yeah. So he said that should solve it. So that's the next step if it comes back. Okay. And then he said in a few weeks, if this one comes back too, then we get that.
Ruth said, my sister had an aneurysm burst in August. Hobart Hospital flew her to Northwestern. They saved her life with emergency surgery. The bill is killing her right now, $40,000 for the chopper flight. And Angel says, lawyer up.
Right. I mean, hopefully, because I know Joel.
Well, in what sense? What are we going to do with a lawyer?
I know Joel said to I have to appeal it. I got to write a letter.
Yes, they're like again.
But I know you say that. Oh, they're going to cover it, but this was their thing saying they denied it.
I know, but they do that automatically because most people won't dispute it and they'll just pay it. Whereas, so that's them getting out of paying a bill they should pay. What? They're going to pay it. I promise you, they're going to pay it.
Okay.
I think so. I could be wrong, but
I think you are wrong.
Okay, well, we shall see.
Because I've gotten information from like the Franciscan or like basic things where it said, oh, not covered after a few weeks. Then, okay, the insurance covered it. Right. So like in those where they hadn't reviewed it really yet. Yeah. But this one, they've reviewed it.
I feel like this is
told us clear as day. We reviewed it.
I know, but they're full of it.
Oh, your placenta ruptured. We reviewed it. You're not covered. Oh, but you were 20 weeks. We reviewed it, but it's not covered. So it's like.
I don't buy it.
Oh, no.
I don't. I do not buy it.
But yeah.
Do you feel like we've wrapped up this story? Should we wrap up this podcast?
Yeah.
You sure? You done?
I don't have anything else to talk about. Why are you putting your headphones on?
What?
Your hair. Fix your hair.
What's wrong with my hair?
It doesn't look good.
Oh. How about that? Is that better?
Why do you have your headphones on?
Because I need to hear the music when I play the end.
We haven't played music yet.
Well, I'm going to when I end the show.
Are we done with it, though?
I thought so.
Any other questions?
Talk about?
I think we covered everything. Do I get any more pictures to show?
I don't think so. I mean, the only thing that I could say after that was how rough it was for me the next day. Okay. When I opened up the envelope that had the footprints in it.
Oh, yeah. What a kick in the dick.
That was so hard. I wanted to look at it because I needed to see it. But at the same time, I knew it was going to be too much for Michelle, like right off the bat. So it was too much for me, if I'm honest.
Those are like footprints.
Mm-hmm. The thumbnail for this video. Right. That was too much for me because it was like, hello, Tiny Henderson. You know, like that's so devastating. And
they had these giant pill-like balls in the bathrooms.
Yeah, like Mr. Peanut and his blue
I'm like,
friend,
what are these?
Blue-balled friend.
They're just random. Anything else? That was Joel just sleeping, as they had just put like lidocaine shots inside of me.
I was passed out, man. I was comfy.
You look like the gingerbread man.
Well.
They gave us, so River was very concerned.
Super concerned.
And if you know anything about River,
she's
not allowed to like me or love me or say things like that because of.
Well, she's worried that she'll get in trouble. She said it one time and then like panicked and hasn't said it again. But you know, we know she loves her. Yeah. And so she was very concerned she was texting me like, can I come up there? Can I come up to the hospital? Is the
You're, like,
baby
whispering.
Is the baby going to be okay? Et cetera, et cetera. And it was like, I explained it the best that I could to her via text, and her response was like, but Michelle's going to be okay, right? And it really choked me up because it was like, she obviously cares about her.
Danielle, I had to pay $10K for having Olivia early because of preeclampsia. What? And their job was to say no.
Yeah.
Man. But yeah, when River was texting me, and then I was like, I'm kind of bored. We're just sitting there. And then we were playing the dot game on my phone. And then I stopped because I was so tired. I was like, River, I'm dozing. I don't know if I told her that part yet.
Right.
And then I'm getting so many texts. Hello, Michelle. Are you okay? Why aren't you Michelle?
She stopped responding.
I stopped responding. I was like, no, I didn't die,
No,
River.
it's not funny, but
And then, but I was like, I wasn't sure how she was going to react.
Yeah.
Because then she was wanting to come to the hospital. She's like, I'll just wait in the lobby. I don't got it. Because the
like
restrictions
it's
were
a mile away, River. That's
like, River, you
nothing.
can look out the front door and
You
see.
may
us
as well
coming. I don't
stay
know.
at home, and it's the same.
She's like, I'll wait downstairs. I'll sit in the car. I was like, you're 10. We can't just leave you.
right.
But I was so hesitant. I was like, how is she going to react? And of course, the next day, because I had asked them at Rush, hey, what are the restrictions? Like, can you ask? Because your parents still had her.
Right.
And then I think at that point, she had gone back to her mother. I was like, hey, River, we're going to ask if you can. And then instantly, her attitude changes when she's there. She's like, can't, homework, okay. So you know the difference of, that's a whole different situation. But it was nice seeing that amount of care shown for River in that regard, and it lasted for like a few days. So I was like, okay. So she was able to reveal her feelings. But she was very concerned because next podcast in California, yeah, like I said, we're supposed to be in California. We would have been
We were
there.
going to be there today, but
I couldn't risk with,
Michelle wasn't
I
feeling
think
good.
because they put me on such strong antibiotics, it's definitely helping. And I've been drinking so much tea. I've been sleeping like crazy. But with how I get sick and the deep cough,
Yeah.
it was terrible. It's getting better though. But we got that flight credit. So yeah.
So
California
yes,
podcast.
I'm down. This is so easy to set up. It just takes me a few minutes. I'll have to bring my mixer and my computer and my cameras, but for the most part, I have everything with me anyway. So yes, we can absolutely do podcasts anywhere.
You know, the nice thing, this is the last thing, we were talking to River about it, and she was like, oh, can't they save the baby? I think just the other day when she heard me talking to Lori, I mentioned how the high-risk doctor called me, and he was like, are they going to stop the heartbeat? And I was like, it didn't hit me, and I was like, what do you mean? And I was like, I see for what they were doing, and River heard that. And then she was coming in, she's like, what do you mean stop the heartbeat? She was like, what do you mean?
Right.
So I think she was understanding, but that's why I was comfortable saying it, because it wasn't so fresh. I know she's so young, but during that time, she didn't understand. She was like, we're like, River, there's nothing they can do.
And she's like, but the baby's going to be okay, right? And I was like,
Right.
I felt so bad because I'm like,
I know, but then she was like, well, I was like, River, after 24 hours, like, the baby can't breathe.
Yeah.
The lungs aren't going to develop. So it's trying to dumb it down for her.
but she still would be like at the end, like, but
like,
the
oh,
baby's, right? You're still
she's-
going to try.
She said, she's like, oh, but it's okay. I was like, the baby won't be normal. There's going to be so many things wrong with it if it were to survive.
Right.
And it's going to suffer going throughout. And then I'm at risk for trying to carry. So she's like, well, you can just try, see how long you can last. And I'm
What
like,
did she say about the baby being normal?
she was like, it's okay if the baby is not normal. Everyone can be different. And I was like,
Yeah.
God damn it, River. I know
know.
you're right. But so, and then so,
that doesn't help anything.
I know. So we were sharing that with our nurse. The nurse was great.
Yeah.
And then she was like, I could see if the child care people can come in. And I was like, okay, sure. And next thing you know, these people come in, they have us a bag of goodies for explaining all of this on a level for a little kid to understand. We haven't given it to her yet, but there's even little seeds to
Oh, that's
plant for
right.
a flower.
Yep.
And there's a picture book that explains it in a way that a 10-year-old
Right.
can process it. So
Yeah.
I was like, oh, so seeing that
I'm
they had...
having a hard time as a 45-year-old,
Oh, well,
44-year-old.
So seeing that they had those different services, that was kind of cool.
25. I thought I was 25 for a second there. What? That shows you how the difference between reality and, your brain. I felt like 25, really?
Right. But no, I think that's it. I don't think there's anything.
How are you feeling a month later?
Fine.
Like in relation to it? Like, are you okay? Like, we're going to try again, et cetera, et cetera?
Right, yeah, that's the plan.
Yeah.
Yep.
I mean, I don't really have anything else.
I'm trying to think. I think we covered. That's all of it. That's
It's
what
been
happened.
nearly 3 hours. I'm sure we covered all of it. Yeah, it's almost 5 o'clock.
I made pork taco meat, and we're gonna make some pork nachos. We're, as in I am.
Oh, are we? As in you are?
Well, thanks for all the people that watched.
Why am I not getting sound here? I'm playing a song and it's
Your
not playing.
beer messed it up. Oh, I get to hear music?
I'm not hearing music. I don't hear anything. Oh, there we go. Let me start over again.
Brought to you by
So this is the Don't Have a podcast.
Classical Guitar.
It's the Don't Have a podcast. Thank you for tuning in. We'll be back at some point to do future episodes. They won't be this dark. I imagine we'll just talk about regular stuff.
Right.
I enjoyed talking with you on this, so I hope people that were watching enjoyed it as well. And we'll be back.
1999?
Make sure to subscribe to the podcast.
That's like a golden buzzer.
Make sure to, if you want to, you can become a member on the channel. It's
That's
$4.99 a month.
insane.
It helps support us and do more things like this. I would love to do more chats like this with the wife, and we'll be back at some point
Wait,
in the
I
future.
don't want to end it yet.
You don't want to end
Someone
it?
just put. That's crazy.
What?
Someone put 1999.
Don't have a. Why is everything 19? Why is everything 99? Is there no even dollar amounts?
I don't know. It's gotta be like tax applied.
It's like $1.99, 99 cents, 19. Why are people donating to this?
That's
Thank you.
why I gave.
We
That is
appreciate
not going
you.
to cover my non-hospital stay, guys. I'm just
No,
kidding.
it's not. Thank you all for watching.
Gosh.
We appreciate it.
Oh, there's people on still.
And if you want to continue the conversation, go to our Facebook page or whatever,
You
right?
have to add us, I guess.
Anyways, that's about it. We got 20 seconds of song
Sarah,
left. So
thanks for being my entertainment in this long drive. You're very welcome. I hope you make it to Tennessee soon.
yeah, again,
Do this one so we can go live.
Yep.
Who did 99 cents?
don't have
Just
a.
kidding. I love you guys. I love you too.
See you later.
Oh, that's it? Well, we got 15 people on it now.
Okay, bye.